Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a monumental game in Pool D, an extremely important one for these two sides. Japan taking on Samoa. Now, as we sit, they are both on the 5 points, which does mean whoever wins this game pushes themselves that little bit closer to the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. Of course, Argentina, they are going to be chomping on the heels. They have got their game up against Chile that has taken place tomorrow. But for now, Samoa and Japan, I believe whoever wins this game, their World Cup quarterfinals hopes will continue. But the side that does lose this game, the amount of a mountain that they will have to climb throughout their last round may be just a little bit too much to be able to make up. But looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for Japan, they are going to be as follows. Inagaki in the front row alongside Shota Hori, as well as Jiwangu, Cornelsen and Fakatava in the lock-in duo. Now, Fakatava able to get himself 2 tries in the first game up against Chile. Then we didn't really see too much of him in the next game. For the Japanese, Michael Leach at number 6, huge amount of experience on his shoulders. Peter Leviskachny at number 7, and the captain, Kazuki Himeno. At number 8, Nagare and Matsuda. The 19 combo, they will be looking to get this ball out the back line at a frantic pace, try and wear down the Samoans. And it's going to be interesting see how this game does go late, mainly because of what kind of rugby we have seen so far throughout this World Cup. A lot of sides emptying the gas tank and then having that last 20 or so minutes when they really have to dig deep, see whether or not they can get over the line. Nakamura and Dylan Riley in the midfield. Naikabulla out on the left wing, who has been impressive so far throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Matsushima at number 14, and then also it will be Lamano Lemeki into the starting lineup. That is due to the injury of Maziriwa. Looking through at the Samoan starting lineup, James Lay, Seilala Lam, and Paul Aluamile as the front row, the same as what they did have in their last game for the Samoans up against Argentina. Chris Vui and Theo McFarlane take back to the locking duo, which is the same as they had in their first game of the Rugby World Cup up against the Chileans. Talini Su at 6, Fritz Lee number 7, and then number 8, Jordan Talfua. Jonathan Tamatina and Christian Leleofano. The 19 combo, D'Angelo Leula gets his first start of the Rugby World Cup at number 12, with Tamua Manu shifting from 12 to number 13. Ben Lamb out on the left wing. We didn't see anywhere near enough of him in the last contest. Ed Fido out on the right, and Duncan Paioa, a man who got himself yellow carded in the first 30 seconds of that game up against Argentina. We'll be hoping for a better performance here up against the Japanese. In the chat we have got there, hi Kiwi says E3G, welcome in mate, hope you are doing extremely well. Hi all, and Hamish says Robert, welcome in. And also hey Hamish in chat says Eldon there as well. Greetings from Europe, says Stuart Moore, and how's it Hamish, says Grant. And also we can time out for 24 hours now, says Gareth. Is that something that YouTube have added? That is a long time, a lot longer than the 5 minutes, that is for sure. Malauso says Nya there. And also Rudy has said, I just want to say one thing, and I assume it was that Rudy in that case. So that is fair enough. A nice match, says Cheryl, and also Talofa says Chris there. Manu Samoa says Narisa, and also we have got Samoa and England to qualify for the quarterfinals. No question Samoa will win this, says Username. And they do come into this game as the favourites. Samoa, of course, in the Pacific Nations Cup, we saw them get themselves a victory, 24 points to 22. When these two sides go head-to-head, it is normally relatively close. The Samoans, disciplinary-wise, I think that will be one of their main concerns throughout this contest, whereas for Japan, it will be the handling. And that is because they try and play that game at such a pace that can sometimes hurt. The handling errors, we have got both Samoa and Japan are due their big performance, says Eldon, and the fact that they are going to be matching up against each other in this game, going to be a good one, that is for sure. I'm back in Samoa, says Peter Wild, and also who do you think is going to win, says E3G. For me, I think it's going to be a narrow victory for Samoa, a little bit similar to the scoreline that we saw for the Pacific Nations Cup. I believe I went with 22 points to 20 in favour of the Samoans. Looking through at the previous fixtures for these two sides, for Japan, they have had themselves 2 games so far in Pool D. They actually have a very similar trend that I pointed out in my preview for this matchup. The Japanese 42 points to 12, a good win over Chile, and then having their loss to England 34 points to 12. So the trend is, however many points they conceded in their first game, is the amount of points that they scored in their second. And Samoa actually follow that exact same trend. They conceded 10 points in their first game up against Chile, and then they were able to get themselves 10 points in the game up against the Pumas. It wasn't enough, and Argentina got themselves their first win of the Rugby World Cup. But as you can see, the 2 games prior to that, Samoa getting themselves a victory over the Barbarians, as well as that game up against the Irish. They were extremely close to walking away with the victory, ending the Irish winning streak. Just not quite able to take that opportunity. But the fact that Samoa scored 43 points up against Chile, and the fact that Japan scored 42 up against the Chileans, conceding an extra 2 points. These 2 sides are extremely close. We knew that in the Pacific Nations Cup. We still know that. So it could be a game where only one little mistake could be the difference between a win and a loss. We have got Go the Manu and Evening Hamish going to be your channel, or going to be on your channel again, mate. Says Josh, so it is great to have you back. And also Go Manu says Princess, and also up Samoa, let's go, says Ben. Maybe Japan will perform big against Argentina, and Samoa will perform big against England. Who knows, says Eldon. Yeah, I feel like both of these sides, don't get me wrong, they would have been very impressed with their first performance, where they both were able to get themselves the victories over Chile. But then that next game, for the Japanese, they just seemed a little bit lackluster in their game up against the English. An ill-disciplined Samoa weren't able to get themselves over the line up against Los Pumas, which I feel was a game that would have been absolutely crucial for Samoa's campaign, because they do have England just around the corner. That is not going to be an easy game. It is taking place next weekend, so anything less than walking away with a victory here for Samoa is almost not enough. Now, the next game that they have got, it is up against the English, like I mentioned. That is on the 8th of October in the morning, and that will be a part of the last round in this Rugby World Cup group stage. Then for the Japanese, I almost said Tongans there, saw the red and associate it with them, of course, but Japan, they will have themselves the game at 12 a.m. on Monday morning, New Zealand time, on the 5th round of the Rugby World Cup up against Argentina. So neither of these sides really have an easy game to close out their World Cup pool stages. And in both cases, it could be the match that helps get them through to the quarterfinals. I like watermelon, says Cheryl. I do enjoy a watermelon myself as well. It's just a shame in New Zealand, they're like $50 at the moment, aren't they? And Go the Manu says Tausua. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you feel will be the players who step up in this contest? We have shown the starting lineups. We will be looking through at the reserves, what they can offer off the bench. For Japan, it will be Sakate, Craig Miller, and Ivalu, Warner Dern, at number 19, and Shimokawa, and number 20, Saito Siensen Lee, and also Osada, the last man to come off the bench for the Japanese. Then for the Samoans, it is Sama Malolo, the man who did score the try in the last contest for the Samoans. Jordan Lay and Michael Alatoa, a man who did come off the bench in the last contest, also has captained Samoa in the past. I believe, if I'm not wrong, he also did not play the last time that Japan did take on the Samoans. Stephen Luatua at number 19 with Alamana Matanga at 20, so opting to go with the 5-3 split for this game. Malani Mataval, the 7-star, at 21. Naria Famai as the 22, and number 23, Danny Tawala. So quite a bit of Moana Pacifica flair going to be coming off the bench here for the Samoans. For Japan, it'll be all about emptying that gas tank in the first half for some of the players, and then bringing on the fresh man in the second to see if they can outwork the Samoans in this game. Go the Manu, and also just say Sam Marie, says Rudy, and also we've got there getting close to the knockouts. I'm very excited. Says Eldon, the Samoan flag, says Thames, and also let's go Manu Samoa, says Glendon. Samoa ran iron close. I expect a big win here for Samoa, says Sports Fan, although we do know that Japan can put up a decent fight. And I feel like that is why in this game we might actually be a little bit closer on the scoreboard than some are anticipating. Although, if either of these sides find their stride early, it could be a very high-scoring game. As long as it's dry conditions as well. I haven't actually seen what the conditions look like just yet. But I believe if it's a slow, methodical game of rugby, that would probably favour Japan. If it's fast-paced, free-flowing, I think that will favour the Samoans. And hi Hamish, I'll swap video watching to you to join you in your vocal commentary. You add value to the rugby experience. Thanks so much, says Zimmerman. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate it. And we are here for every game of this Rugby World Cup, including the rest of the games in round number 4, which we have got here for anyone who's curious. New Zealand versus Italy. That will be the game that we are covering tomorrow morning. Argentina versus Chile. That is the 2 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. So for anyone who is in Europe, that is pretty much just taking away 12 hours. And then for anyone in South Africa, slightly adjusted. And that will be adding an extra hour on top of that. So I believe it's 11 hours behind the South Africans currently are. So if, for instance, this game would be taking place at 9 p.m. for South African time rather. Then the 8 a.m. Fiji versus Georgia, important game in Pool C. Scotland versus Romania, Australia versus Portugal, and South Africa versus Tonga to be able to close out this round of the Rugby World Cup. But pretty much there's a few of these games that I guess in some regards are almost technicalities of a big side has to take on the little side. Japan versus Samoa is certainly not one of those games. Same can be said about that New Zealand, Italy, Georgia versus Fiji could be close. South Africa, Tonga to close out the weekend with a bang. It's going to be very entertaining. Looking through at what there is to come up next weekend. New Zealand, they have got themselves the game up against Uruguay, so we don't have a Thursday morning game for next week. France versus Italy, that is a 8 a.m. game on the Saturday, and then 3 games back-to-back on the Sunday. It will be Wales versus Georgia, England versus Samoa. That's going to be a big one. And Ireland versus Scotland, the game to follow. Japan versus Argentina, Tonga versus Romania, and Fiji versus Portugal will be the 3 games on the Monday. So a relatively hectic last 2 games of the group stages, and then we are into the quarterfinals, which of course anyone could be going through. Looking at the chat here, come on Japan, says Cheryl. And also we've got their greeting, Sir Hamish from Cape Town. Let's go, says Albert. Welcome in, mate. And let's go, Manu, says Spa. And Samoa were great that day, but we honestly were poor. We had loads of rain here, especially during the month of July. And our lads just kept dropping the ball against Samoa, says Eldon. And greetings, Hamish in chat. Hit the like button. And sub rugby fan, says bystander. And let's go, my Samoan brother, says Sai in there. And hey there, Hamish. Looking forward to the nice tight game tonight, says Reshin. And are we going to talk about food again, says Albert. I mean, it is pretty much I guess it's you guys' decision, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know that I read out 90% of the chat. So if you guys go down a food route, then I probably will as well. But for now, I think that the score prediction for this game would be the better track to be able to go down, because I believe it's going to be only split by less than 5 points in this contest. I says VDK, welcome in. And also go the best team. Going to be interesting, says Ronnie. And Ron. Sushi, says Albert. I have never had it. There you go. That's controversial, isn't it? How's the weather there tonight, says Sai? At the moment, we've got ads for McDonald's here in New Zealand, but they are about to pick up the coverage, and then from there, I'll let you know exactly how the weather is looking. These midweek games have been some of the most entertaining and hard-fought games of the World Cup. This could be another cracker of a game, says Kevin. And who do you think's going to win the Rugby World Cup? I believe it's going to be either Ireland or South Africa at the moment. Those are my 2 front runners as we currently sit. How's the weather here tonight? Rainy, says Eldon, and also 27-18 in favour of the Japanese for Akaris, and also South Africa, says Albert. And also what time will the game start? It is starting in 15 minutes time, so we are not too far away at all from the start of this fixture. Both of these sides, they will be well and truly excited for this opportunity. And like I mentioned, whoever walks away with the victory here, they keep their hopes of making it through to the next stage in the Rugby World Cup alive. I believe whoever loses this contest will just be that little bit too far behind to be able to get back into it. And was the most interesting game of the World Cup so far, says E3G. There's been a few that have been extremely good games of rugby to watch. I mean, Georgia-Portugal went right down to the wire. It ended up being the draw. 1 versus 2 in the world, but Ireland versus South Africa was always going to be a very entertaining game. We've seen a couple hard-fought victories or hard-fought defeats for the Fijians. They always play with their hearts on their sleeves. They're going to be taking on Georgia a little bit later on. Hamish, there are many things the world you never had, says Albert. And also we've got there on back, says Stretch Fletcher. Score prediction for this match, 22 points to 20 in favour of the Samoans, although I can easily see it going the other way. Can you show us the game perhaps, says BDK? If I was to show any match footage or audio, YouTube would take us straight down off YouTube. We would be banned for 3 months from being able to live stream. So it would mean that I get an extremely long holiday. And as nice as that sounds, with the hectic schedule we've had, I think it would be the wrong time to take a holiday with the Rugby World Cup over 50% finished and the quarterfinals just around the corner. There's going to be a rough and tough game, says Andre Vermeulen, because of course, both of these sides getting the victory is the main priority, but then also that side priority will be not walking away with too many injuries, not walking away with any suspensions. It's going to be an interesting one because I know that Samoa will be looking to put in some big hits early. Then saying that Japan's discipline has been letting them down a little bit as of late as well, alongside the drop balls that they've had. How many times do you get asked that question, Hamish? Says, Eldon, if I had $1 for every time I've been asked whether or not I can show the game, I would have enough money to buy the licensing to show the game. Will there be streams, says Marianella. Sadly not. 24 degrees Celsius for this game. I should mention also 10 degrees of wind, or 10 kilometers of wind, I should say. So not a huge amount of weather conditions that should play factor. And hey guys, thanks for the advice. I've decided to improve my life and focus on being a South African. Says, cool story, bro. Who told you not to be a, like, wait, what happened? Cool story, bro. And also Japan has been letting everyone down for the past 4 years. Says username, although normally every World Cup they have their one upset that they are able to cause. In this game, they do come in as underdogs. So perhaps it could be this game that could make the difference. YouTube have nonsense regulations, says VDK, although I can understand why. At the end of the day, like to show any footage or anything would be illegal. So it's just YouTube covering their own back, pretty much going, don't do illegal things on our platform or we will have to take you down. Although, says Lisa, welcome in. 19 for the Samoans, 14 to Japan. Let's go, says Latoy. And hi guys, says okay, welcome in. And evening, Hamish. Evening all, made it on time tonight, says Kerno Week. You certainly did. Still 13 minutes away from the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Few key players for both of these sides in their starting lineups. Of course, for Japan, they'll be wanting to get that ball out as effectively as they can. Nagari at 9 always empties his gas tank. Matsuda at 10, I believe he will also have the kicking tee in this matchup. But in that 4-pack, I'm looking at that tight 5 and thinking how important it is going to be for them to be physical up against the Samoans early on in this game. Fakatava, if he has a great game at line-out time as well as in the breakdown, running the ball hard, could certainly be the X-factor that the Japanese need. But Lemeki at 15, it will be intriguing to see how he goes, seeing as he did come off the bench in the last game due to the injury of Mazirewa, and he didn't actually seem to do too badly. So now getting that big opportunity at 15 to try and I guess cement himself as that starting 15 for the future games. For the Samoans, they made a couple changes compared to what they did have in their last fixture. One of the big ones was Jordan Taufua starting at number 8 rather than Stephen Luatua. In the midfield, they've made a little bit of an adjustment. D'Angelo Leula makes his way to 12 with Tamua Manu at number 13, so no sign of Ulapano Junior Saltini in that midfield. Ben Lamb out on the left wing. I want to see a lot more of him than we saw in the last game. I felt like he was non-existent at times. Needs to get right in there, cause some ruckus, as the word goes, and go a little bit better. Ed Fidel out on the right wing. Duncan Paiua, he needs a big one at 15. As well, looking at the chat, once more we have got there, Varaki, everyone from Fiji, says that Fijian guy, welcome in. And also already started, can you see here, says Nurit, sadly due to licensing, if we put any match footage or audio up, we will end up getting copyright struck. And will you go to jail for illegal footage? I know that in America you can go to prison for, I think it's up to 5 years for copyright infringement. Here in New Zealand, I think it's just a $25,000 fine is the worst that you can get. Although I think you can get some jail time as well. So it's definitely not worth the risk is what I'm saying in that regard. We have got there, let's go Samoa, says clear. And also I do have to create an upset each cup. But this team have dropped massively in quality and will be losing to everyone except Chile. Says username. I saw Instagram has Japan as favourites. I'm going to say Samoa take this one 33 points to 26. And there, one more. We will sneeze quickly. We are good. That is one slight downside of having early morning streams, as I always end up sneezing on them at some point. Do you think South Africa lost on purpose? I don't believe so. I believe that they would have loved to be able to walk away with that victory. They had a narrow loss. They would have known it was going to be close, but they would have learned a lot from that performance up against the Irish, and who knows, maybe those two sides meet in the Rugby World Cup final. I think Samoa 15 to Japan's 12, says Oku. And also we have got there as well. Hello, Hamish. I hope everyone is ready for a smash and good game, says Stefan. Why can you fast forward on a live? Says VDK. It just means that you're probably a little bit behind in that case. And I was worried why Seal was taken off so early, says Robin Wood. Although he is going to be playing in that game up against the Tongans, isn't he? Playing 6. Dwayne Vermeulen 7 is an intriguing thing. And I hope that it goes all right. Them having Vermeulen and Visa seems like a big risk, both in that starting lineup. Hamish, I'm missing your cricket videos. Have you not gone to play cricket, says Coding? Well, the cricket season has not started as of yet. We have had one training. We were supposed to have training yesterday, but it was pouring with rain, so I went down there and then it was cancelled, so it was slightly unfortunate. But yeah, cricket season starting up about mid-October, but I will be probably starting up early November for my cricket side of things. And Samoa will be going all out. It's either go hard or go home. Let's go, my Samoan brother, says that Fijian guy, and the Japanese should use sumo wrestlers as their forwards, says Rishin. I mean, they've already got some pretty decent size across that front row. Inagake, Shotohori, Jiwangu, and they are more than capable of getting the momentum going back. Jack the Thought also across my mind, says Bruce. So what you're saying is match fixing, which of course you are not allowed to do. So they've got to be very careful if they did do any sort of tactic like that, or else they could get themselves a big backlash, that is for sure. Arasia's got plans. Boys, wait and see, says Jack, and also evening/morning. And come on, Japan. But I do have a soft spot for Samoa, says Fleshin. And also, hey, Hamish, do you think bringing Pollard in is another huge risk for the Box? I believe that the game up against Tonga is the one to do it. It's just going to be a little bit risky if he doesn't look too flash in terms of what you do with him in the quarterfinals. And I think that Mani Libok 10, Andre Pollard 12 is something that's been talked about quite a bit. Perhaps they try that later on in the game. And also Box do not play to lose. They are Box, says Kerno Wick. And also Dwayne Vermeulen at number 7. Yep, that is where they've gone with them in the upcoming game. Also Pollard starting at 10. Reinach starting at number 9. And then I think those probably the only real changes that they got. And Fair Cute talking about Irish Box final. Don't mention the ABs waiting in the long grass, says Porter. And also we have got there, it seems that you also have to be the psychic, says Rudy. And South Africa open side plays in 6. Often play left and right flanker too. When they put in or put out a bid trio, says the trail running and ref through that South Africa game. South Africa should have won. Although that's the thing, I think South Africa, they've looked at that game and they've gone, we should have been able to secure the victory before the last maul of the game. So they would have had a lot more that they could have done in the early stages. We look at the fact that they missed about 11 points worth of penalty kicks and conversions. That would have certainly helped them get over the line. And the Irish will look at that game as well, going, if our line-out was firing near the start, we could have scored 2 or 3 more tries and put the Box under real pressure. So both sides will look at that game as something that they could have done to improve on. And now they get another chance when they do make their way through to their quarterfinals. The two sides making their way out of the tunnel, but looking through at the starting side for the Japanese, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who hasn't seen it already, Kita Inagaki at number 1, Shotohori at 2, and Jiwangu as the number 3. Jack Cornelison and Amato Fakatava as the locking duo. Michael Leach, Peter Labaskachny at number 7, and Kazuki Himeno as the captain. And also, as number 8, Nagari and Matsuda will be the 19 combo. Nakamura and Dylan Riley makes his way back into the starting side after coming off the bench in the last game up against the English. Nakabula out on the left wing has been looking very promising throughout this Rugby World Cup. It's going to be Kotaro Matsushima out on the right, and then Lamano Lameki to close out the starting side for Japan. Looking through at Samoa's starting lineup, James Lay, Seilala Lamb at 2, and Paul Alawamile as the tight air prop. Chris Vui and Theo McFarlane back to the locking duo. It is something that the Samoans did throughout the Pacific Nations Cup. They did have it for the first game of their Rugby World Cup campaign as well. Theo McFarlane actually playing in the loose forward trio for last week's game up against the Argentines. Talini Su at number 6, Fritz Lee, number 7, and Jordan Taufua as the number 8, Tamatine and Christian Leliafano, the 9-10 combo, so no Lema Sopawanga for this contest. D'Angelo Leula and Tamua Manu in the midfield. Ben Lamb, Ed Fidel, and Duncan Paiaua out there at number 15. We have got Dwayne at 7 is because Mostert replaced Luda at lock. And also Peter Steph Toy replacement at 7. It used to be Mostert, says Albert. What's your prediction for where Wales will finish? Says Luan. I believe I went with, in my original prediction, I did say that Wales would top their group. So I have got that one correct. But I think I said that they get knocked out in the quarterfinals in their game up against Argentina was actually who I had. Nothing wrong with the ref. The blaming refs, both sides will look at that game to improve on, says Stefan. And Box said the other team will never throw a game. This is not cricket, says Ron. And also come on the mighty Manu Samoa, says Ian Foster. And also Michael Leach has scored more tries for Japan than all other players combined, says Stephen. I don't know about score more tries, as he hasn't got a huge amount for himself. Leach maybe throughout his whole career for other contests as well. In Japan 100, says Rudy. And also rumour has it that the Irish putting out second team once they're ever going to play New Zealand, says Porter. And also Ben Lamb might turn up for this game. I was in La La Land last time, says Peter Wild. Yeah, we just need to see more of Ben Lamb. And I feel like that will heavily impact the way that Samoa are able to play, because he is a sensational winger. We've seen him play well for Bordeaux. We used to see him play well for the Hurricanes. But this is now a Rugby World Cup. 22 tries for Japan, says Stefan. Surely that's not more than the whole of his team, though, is it? Japan have scored quite a few tries in recent times. I have a feeling Wales are already in the semi. They're already in the quarterfinal. I expect their opposition in the quarterfinal to be weaker than them. What do you think, says Robin Wood? Well, the chances at the moment is in the quarterfinal, they will be taking on either Argentina, Japan, or Samoa. England versus Fiji seems like it's all but confirmed on the other side of the draw. I never know how we're ever go through it, because you can't believe a word out of the coach's mouth, says Joseph. And also Fight, says RM, and also the laughing faces from Stefan. Now two sides finishing their national anthems, just about to start. Your predictions, says Michael. I have gone 22 points to 20 in favour of the Samoans for this game. We have got their Porter is driving. There's no way we're putting out a second team against Scotland, says Eldon. And also this is going to be a very good scrap, says Ockert. It'll be interesting, though, for Ireland. I think they'll go with probably consistency, seeing as that is what they've done all throughout this Rugby World Cup. They've had the week off this week, so they'll be nicely recovered, ready for those quarterfinals. Let's go, Hamish, you legend, says Luan. And also, there's going to be a very good scrap, says Ockert. Japan by 7, says Save there. And England versus Fiji again, classic, says Robin Wood. Yeah, it matches up perfectly in terms of that storyline for the two sides. Of course, the last time that they met, it was the Fijians who were able to walk away with that victory. But Samoa will be looking to start this match quick. Discipline will be the big word of the day. And then for Japan, it is handling. That was the battle throughout the Pacific Nations Cup. Both of these sides having their fair share of errors and fair share of penalties against them. But we are slowly learning throughout this Rugby World Cup. It is the sides that are giving away the most penalties that are finding the least successful cricket of a game. That would be England versus Fiji, says Science Samoa by 20, says Peter Wild. And also Japan by 4 points, says Morley Lagrange. And there as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be the first try scorer in this contest. I believe we are going to see Japan start this match quick. Did take Samoa 75 minutes to score themselves a try up against the Argentines, and that was actually Sama Malolo. So I'm actually going to say that Kotaro Matsushima, the first try scorer of this game, and then I believe Japan, they might slow down a little bit, and that's when Samoa start to find their momentum. Boys, watch out, Japan is going to win, says Jack there. No, it's 50-50 between Samoa and Japan, says the New Age. And also we have got there England can't offload to take their, or can't afford to take their foot off the gas because they lost to Ireland rather than England. They lost to Scotland and South Africa getting bonus point against them. Can see Ireland not getting out of the pool of death, says Albert. And also my money is on Samoa for the first try, says Cameron Day. Although the benefit a little bit that the Irish have, of course, is the fact that they did manage to get themselves that victory over the Box. So the head-to-head comes ahead of the points differential in this comp, which is why there are a few sides that even if they manage to do well in their next game, I'm looking straight at Fiji and Australia's case, which is if Australia get 5 points but Fiji also get the 5, there is no way for the Australians to get ahead of the Fijians because of that head-to-head result. And my money is on Samoa for the first try. Says Cameron Day. It's the same as if South Africa receive a bonus point in their game up against Tonga. Then there would be no way for the Scottish to be able to qualify out of their group for the Rugby World Cup. And also we have got their hello signing in from work. Says Yvonne, welcome in. And also Wales will probably get knocked out to either Irish or New Zealand in the semis. Number 11 for Japan will score the first try. Says Moni Lagrange. So going with Hone Nakabula. Very good shout. He has looked strong throughout the Pacific Nations Cup. But anyone who is new to the channel, I should also mention, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have still got 6 more games this weekend that we are going to be doing, including a few big ones just around the corner. I haven't missed one of your commentaries. I'm not going to you make this World Cup so much more interesting. Says Luan, thank you very much. Yeah, our plan is to do every single game of the 48. We have currently got 23 games to go in this World Cup competition. Benedict said you're going to show us the match, or says Benedict, due to YouTube's regulations and copyright infringement, it means that I can only do the play-by-play commentary. But if you go on the Rugby World Cup website, you will be able to see your best options of where you can watch this game live, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. And some of the options are free. Some of the other options, unfortunately, are paid subscriptions. But it is going to be Samoa kicking off this one to start this game off. Jaco Piper is the referee in charge, alongside Ben O'Keefe, Craig Evans, and Marius Yonka in charge of the TMO. Got the countdown, Samoa with Christian Lealiafano kicking off. And this game is underway, a rematch of the Pacific Nations Cup fixture in which they were only split by 2 points. Could be that close here once again. Now rolling it back in, Nagari looking to put up the kick high. An eye from Johannesburg. Japan has totally got this. Sushi is rolling today, says Red. It's going to be nicely taken to the back by Theo McFarlane for the Samoans, although a little bit of a counter-attack from the Japanese. They give away the early penalty, and Samoa to win themselves the first one of this game. What's your target on subscribers tonight, says Stefan? To be honest, we haven't really looked at, I guess, the subscriber goals as of yet. I guess we're close to 35,500, so that could be a relatively good goal to aim for. We'd need around 95 or somewhere around there. And this is an interesting choice for Samoa. From 55 metres out, D'Angelo Leula is going to be lining up the 3 points here. And nice to be back, guys, says Chloe. Let me live, says William. Hopefully you are living. Hopefully you got your pulse, heartbeat and everything along those lines. And go to Manu, says Tausua. And also hello lad, thanks for broadcasting, still working, says Mikkel. And also you're the best rugby or YouTube commentator, says Morno. Thank you very much, mate, usually appreciate it. But this is going to be a tough kick for D'Angelo Leula to start off this Rugby World Cup game. Does normally have the distance. We've seen him now, some long kicks for Waikato in the budding ZBC. Can he strike this one the way he needs to? It's 59 metres out. So you wonder whether or not he was warming up from this distance before the game started. He struck it not too badly. It's actually straight, but it's just short. If it was 57 metres rather than 59, that one would have gone over. We have got middle of the night in New Zealand. How's the sleep situation, says Yvonne? So we're currently sitting 8 a.m. here in New Zealand, but my sleep schedule throughout the last 3 or 4 days, or to a certain extent 3 or 4 weeks, has been absolutely destroyed. So I think I've been sleeping in 3-hour stages at the moment, which is slightly unfortunate, but you can't really help it with the amount of World Cup games and whatnot that have been taking place. Looks like it is going to be a line-out throw now for the Samoans after the kick for touch from Japan. And Bomb Squad, what in the name of God was all that fuss about, says Porter. And 57 metres out rather than 59, that would have gone over. Say La La Lamb now with the line-out throw, nicely taken at the front by Fritz Lee. Now trying to get that rolling maul started here already for the Manu Samoans. Offloading it back was Sailala Lamb, although still hanging on to this for a little bit longer. Tamatine with his hands on the ball, just waiting patiently for that opportunity to take it off the back and get this back line firing. They've moved up to the 22-metre line now for the Samoans. Sailala Lamb still hanging on to this one. And Japan managed to stop the momentum. Now Tamua Manu, great step from him. He's tackled low by the captain Kazuki Himeno. Now big driving run from Fritz Lee. Tamatine off to Leleafano. He went for the kick in behind, but it does end up deflecting off the Japanese leg. And Japan end up back with the ball in hand. We have the high average, says Sean, welcome in. And Ireland brought the bomb disposal unit, I guess, says Sean Lees. And South Africa needs a kicker, says Yvonne. And also we have got in there, what do you guys think of the game of Ireland versus South Africa? We knew it was going to be close. And I think everyone was of that same mindset. If the two sides played 5 times, I believe you'd see one side win 3 times, the other side win 2. And that just shows how close at the moment 1 and 2 are throughout this Rugby World Cup. And also the rugby rankings and overall standings-wise. Now, flat pass from Leleafano. Only sitting a few metres out from the line here. Tamua Manu with another step. We have got a new member on the channel. It is William Toka. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button, mate. You have now got access to the emojis on the channel for these live streams. And because you don't talk stuff informative and interesting, says Robin. And what's your opinion on Australia being out before the knockouts? It's a shame for them, of course, but one good side was going to be missing out in that group. And in this case, it has ended up being Australia for the first time ever missing out on making the quarterfinals. Certainly not where they wanted to be under Eddie Jones for his coaching stint, I guess. But then by the sounds of it, he might be heading to Japan. So there's a chance that we also see Australia have to find a new coach here. Talini Su is now going off the field, ladies and gentlemen, limping, and that means that now Brian Elena Usi, who wasn't in the initial reserves list, I believe instead it was Luatua and also Alamanda Matanga, but now Samoa having to make that early change. That is certainly something they did not want there. There's a warner to Japan. Samoa kicker accurate for the line, give penalties from half. Way at your peril, says it was Kurnovic. And also McFarlane is world-class rugby player, says the New Age. Now the ball has been put high from Lemeki. No one able to get a hand to it there on the halfway line. Ben Lamb trying to fight for the ball, but gives it up to, it was Peter Lavaskachny. Now the kick in behind from Nagari. And Samoa inside of their own 22. Duncan Pyle is back. And then putting that ball downfield into touch. Hamish, do you practice pronouncing the player names for commentary? You're quite good with the difficult names, says Rishin. I think it's also from just doing so many live streams with the certain teams that you slowly just get, I guess, a hang of saying the names. Definitely when you're saying pretty much the whole team, you start to learn what kind of syllables make what noises or what sounds. So, yeah, it slowly gets easier. Nicely taken to the front by Michael Leach Nagari, now going across to, I believe that was actually Matsushima, long way off his wing at the moment. And also just having a bit of fun. Even as a Box fan, I get tired of hearing on how the Box heavies will dominate at this World Cup. We'll probably eat a bit of humble pie, says Robin Wood. Although the benefits South Africa do have is they are such a strong side when it comes to playoff games in a Rugby World competition. At the end of the day, they've got those 3 championships under their belt. Now kicked high on the halfway line from Matsuda. And nicely taken by Ben Lamb. Just inside of the 22. A very casual mark taken by Lamb. We have got there, agreed that McFarlane is a wicket player. Keen, awesome he is. Says Marco, what is the time? Who do you think will win? Says Bernice. At the moment, we are 7 minutes into this contest. They are just showing the fact that Talini Su has already made his way off the field. Looks like a calf muscle, unfortunately, for him. That is the last thing Samoa wanted in the early stages of this match. It pretty much completely changes what they were planning. I believe Theo McFarlane would have gone to 6 in this case. And then Brian Elena Usi going into that midfield. Looks like there's actually a bit of a cut there on Jiwang Gu's eyebrow as well. It's already shown that it's a very physical game between these two sides. Hi, Amish says, Karma Pitch, welcome in. Who here likes fishing, says Clear. I know that it's almost fishing season here in New Zealand again. I think it's this weekend that it becomes fishing season, so we might have to go down to the river. Catch a few sticks is normally the best thing. We're good at catching, just random logs that are underneath the water. Losing lures, Talofalova, or Talofalava, I should say, from Michael. Welcome in. I wonder who Australia's new coach is going to be. I would suggest Stephen Larkham. Says Mornay, I think the problem for Australia at the moment, though, is they could switch their coach 5 times over, but is it the player pool that just aren't quite up to the standard that they need it to be? Shotahori, to throw this one in. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are 83 away from our subscriber goal for this live stream. So if you are new, hit that subscribe button. A nice short pass from Peter Lavaskachny, giving it off to Kazuki Himeno, who is taken down on the halfway line. Now Nagari will go for the kick up and under again. Chasing this one hard. He's taken him out in the air. What's he done there? I think Michael Leach just tackled Ben Lamb with his face. And you're not allowed to take a man out in the air, but because he put his arms back, they're going to say he's allowed to. Imagine Hamish voice commentary on. Top of a chess game says, it was there from Stefan. And Live says, William, like I said, if you go on the Rugby World Cup website, depending on whereabouts you are in the world, will depend on where you can watch the games. That's bounced up nicely for the Japanese. But yeah, on the Rugby World Cup website, they have got a tab that says where to watch. And then from there, you will be able to see your options. Interception thrown to Manu, unable to regather. He knocked it on. And now it's going to be a Japanese scrum from about 40 metres out from Samoa's line. Hamish, I agree. I think Australia has to look at the player pool as well as their systems. Says Ockert. And Joe Schmidt, the man to fix the Aussies. I'm going to need a clear out first, says Porter. Porter and Rugby is 10th in Australia's sport, says Werner. And Muller also, says Ito, in there as well. Kazuki Himeno, he was ready to try and tap that one on. Tamua Manu was jumping on that opportunity to intercept, but just wasn't quite able to regather it the way he needed to. I believe if he had, it would have been very hard, man, to stop from there. What's been your favourite game of the World Cup so far, says Justin? I mean, there's been some real good games. Like, overall, I know a lot of people would say about Ireland versus South Africa as being one of the top games to watch. Portugal-Georgia, I thought, was a pretty awesome game with how close down to the wire it ended up going. And I think a VPN will help watch this game on a Japan point of view. Says Stefan, I believe so. There are some options around the world that are free. It's like if you got a VPN, if you set yourself to Ireland, you will be able to watch all the games for free on ITV. Now, Duncan Paioa running out of space inside of his 22. Tamatine back into the pocket to Liliofano. And does manage to get a decent hoof on that ball. Getting it relatively far away. Matsuda decides to take it quickly as Japan want to keep the tempo rolling. Matsushima taken down by O'Brien. Elena Usi, a man who has already made his way onto the field due to that injury of Taleni Su. Now back across to the left here for Japan. Space starting to open up. Forward pass out wide to Michael Leach. Touch judge says play on. Now 25 metres from the line. Matsuda going across to Amato Fakatava. Like I said, he managed to get himself 2 tries in their first game up against Chile. We have got there Lavaskachny. In cricket, they pronounce it Labashane. Says Rishin, he does indeed. I guess if it's his last name, he can do what he wants with it, can't he? In a way, I guess he's probably just simplified it for the Australians. As well, Jake White to stabilise Australia, says cool story, bro. Hi, says Jody, welcome in. That is going to be now penalty in favour of the Samoans from inside of the 22. So keeping momentum flowing RTE for Ireland. Says Yvonne, and easy fix for Australia approach Rassi. They will win the Rugby World Cup in 2027. Says Red Howe. I don't know whether or not they want Rassi Erasmus in the coaching box. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a great coach, but I feel like they've already taken the gamble with the, I guess, outspoken coach in Eddie Jones, and it's backfired drastically in terms of the way that the media have turned against them. So having Rassi Erasmus in the box, the media would once again fire up in that same manner. Nicely thrown in by Seilala Lam. Currently on the halfway line, starting to roll just that little bit further towards the Japanese 22. Only rolling mauls have been effective throughout this game for the Samoans, making about 10 metres on average per maul that they have had ball in on to Ed Feather. Nice bump off there, twice in a row. Unfortunately for him though, as he was bumping them off, he was going backwards, 40 metres out from Samoa's line now. Tamatine, back to Leleofano, going across to D'Angelo Leula, who's dropped the ball forward. And now it will be another scrum. So the amount of handling errors we are seeing early on in this one, similar to what we saw when these two sides clashed in the Pacific Nations Cup. I have got there, did you pay your 160 to RTE, says Porta Porta? I did not know. Should mention as well, we had 685 people watching. A little bit of a shout out there to the Samoans as well. But anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are covering both of the games for these two sides next week. Japan will be taking on Argentina, and Samoa, they have got a massive game up against the English. And the winner of that just has that little bit more of a chance of making it through to the quarterfinals. But these points will be absolutely crucial for this game. If Samoa walk away with the 5, they'll be in the box seat. If Japan walk away with the 5, same boat. I guess we have to ask the question as well, who is more likely to win their game next week? Samoa against the English or Japan up against Argentina? And at the moment, you probably say that second option due to the form of Argentina being a bit shaky so far throughout this competition. Nice run forward from the Japanese. Springing back to his feet. Defensive error from Samoa. Now 5 metres out from the line. A fantastic run from Kataru. And now reaching out, Peter Labaskakne scores the try for the Japanese. And that'll give them the lead now. How many 4 passes before the ref calls 4 passes? Mr. Kiwi for life. I mean, I did see one in that build up to the last attacking player. Looks like they are actually going to be checking this one. The first player actually ripped the ball into this player's hands, is what Jaco Piper said. So they might actually, yep, they're going upstairs just to make sure. You can see Norm Maxwell on the NZR Plus video cast this week. Says Stuart Moore. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that Norm has been doing a few interviews. We have to get him on at some stage in the future as well, I'd say. Maybe for the quarterfinal, some sort of preview for them. 684 for the Manu. Says Ato. Right, no foul play, no forward pass. Try is awarded for Peter Labaskakne. That man has got a cool hat. He's got like a scoreboard on his eardrums with a scrum cap coming out the side. I got the Manu. Says Khaleesi and Argentina in poor form, or an average team, poor form. Argentina certainly have the potential of beating a lot of sides in that top 10. It's just the fact that at the moment, they just haven't quite been able to find their flow. Only scoring 2 tries so far throughout this Rugby World Cup, which is very uncharacteristic of them. Now, Matsuda lining up this kick. Yes, only because of Jake White, says Ron. I know that's a try, says Mornay. And that kick has gone over for the Japanese, making the score now 7-0 in favour of Japan. Good morning, Irish, says Zion, welcome in. And Jake says Ron and Samoa need to keep the ball and stop kicking, says Nuage. And that was actually something that hurt them in their game up against Argentina. In the final moments of that contest, they kept on going for that kick downfield, kept giving the ball up to the opposition. The great offload to Peter Labaskakne there. Big driving meters made though. The Japanese throughout that one. Now nicely taken by Amato Fakatava. Thought about the offload, then he saw it was Theo McFarland who was waiting for it. Does end up hanging onto it. It's not all Eddie's fault. He was chucked into the role ridiculously close to the World Cup, says Cool Story Bro. And I said that it could hurt certain sides going with changes. So far, England and Wales, it seems like it was actually the right decision for those two teams. Whereas at the time in the Six Nations, with it being so close, it seemed like maybe it wasn't going to be the right call. But for them, it was. I believe for Australia, it wasn't, because it was just that little bit later for them to come in. Now Theo McFarland looks for the offload. Nicely taken by D'Angelo Leula. It was out in front of him, but he has been able to regather. Now James Lay hitting it up for Samoa, who need to get an attack and play going here relatively soon. They've only been inside of the Japanese 22 once in this first 16 minutes. Now James Lay, second carry for him in 3 phases. To Martine, back across here to Fritz Lee. Missed tackle from Michael Leach. Tamatine. We have got there almost exactly time with the commentary. Says Gus there. 38 metres out from the line. Tamatine looks to the short side again, gives it off to D'Angelo Luulu, who's tackled a little bit higher. I believe it might actually be for offside. That Yako Piper has given the penalty advantage. Now Tamatine again trying that sniping run, and that will go back for the penalty again. Gatlin is a legend, says Sai. And go Japan, a Kiwi boy cheering for Japan, says Zion. We had to get rid of Pivak. He was the way out, or he was way out of his depth. Says Fleschen. To be fair, Argentina's big wins, New Zealand, England, even their close loss to the Box. They didn't really score tries, but accumulated scoreboard pressure via penalties with 1 or 2 tries to top it off, says Venster. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game up against Chile because they will need to score those 4 tries. I can guarantee you that. With how close this group is going to be, they need to get that bonus point on the board just to help secure themselves a little bit more, I guess, security heading into the quarterfinals, seeing as these groups, definitely Pool C and Pool D, have been extremely close. Go Samoa, says Vanessa May, and Wales had a good team, just all firing at the wrong time. Quarters will show if they fix properly, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. Our line out throw for... It was in the end, say La La Lamb. The ball was loose. Knock on there from Japan's number 8, Kazuki Himeno. And now the chance for Samoa on the 22 to have another chance. Oh, is there a boo going around the ground? I didn't know that Japanese fans knew how to boo. I thought they were always very respectful, unless they were booing and then cheering. What happened to Eddie's big red panic button? Says cool story, bro. He left it in Japan, which is where he's going after this World Cup by the sounds of it. How's Hamish, says David. We have good there. Japan, says Doctor, and blaming Eddie. He's a new staff member, can't blame him. Blame the dogs on the top. Poison chance of Eddie's job. This poor bloke needs a beer. No, 100 beers, says Marco. See, that's the thing. For Australian rugby, I mentioned it at the time as well. It was going to take more than a good coach to be able to fix 20 years of problems in an Aussie rugby. We have got there, you think, Dupont plays he will be targeted, says Toby. It's going to be a tricky one because there are the rules in terms of, like, you aren't allowed anything too solid. In terms of, like, the face mask would have to be relatively soft but strong at the same time. But then saying that, when it comes to a player's face that's been, like, fractured, like, do World Rugby have to say, we don't really want to take that risk? Because if Dupont takes a head knock, there could be serious, serious damage. And he's a huge player for France, so it's going to be a tough decision for them. But, like, at the end of the day, player safety will come into it. And if World Rugby are like, even though his face is pretty much being held together by tape, we're going to allow him to play and risk him getting seriously hurt. Like, do they want to be the people who have to apologise for it if Dupont ends up with some sort of extremely serious injury from that scenario? Big push there from Samoa at scrum time. Knee going down for the Japanese. And that is now going to be the penalty in favour of Samoa. Eddie didn't deserve all the blame. I don't think he was, that he is the same coach he was. Says Eldon. Hi guys, lots of exciting rugby tonight and the weekend, says George. There certainly is. And Go Japan, says 685. And also, I've got that as wise words, says Chloe. This one is kicking distance, but it looks like Samoa going for the corner here rather than the 3 points. And I like that aggression from them at the end of the day. The bonus points in this group as well could be absolutely crucial. We're already 20 minutes through this game. Oh, you've got Japan loser, says 685, and I wish Canada was in the cup, says Colin. And also we have got there, yes, we don't want ugliness in the games, says Chloe. And Eddie personality became bigger than being a coach, says cool story, bro. Now, little offload up there. Japan managed to drag their rolling maul down. Stephen Luatua is on the field. He actually started at number 4. Oh, okay. So that means Chris Vui not playing in this game. So Luatua into the starting lineup, Elena Usi at number 19. So that makes more sense now in terms of why we did see Elena Usi make his way on. That is going to be 7 and 6, both getting themselves penalised for offside. So now 5 metres out from the line, Samoa. Another chance to go for either the corner or a scrum. They will opt for the scrum here. We have Gadeo played soccer with a guy who fractured his cheekbone and had a thin bolt through it, says Gus. Yeah, it's going to be a painful process, I assume, for Dupont to get back to 100%. But yeah, it's one of those ones that, I mean, like, Luku is a very decent player. And I feel like he's almost underrated to a certain extent because everyone always looks at Dupont as their main guy. But like anytime Luku's been called upon, he has been pretty decent. 5 penalties so far against Japan in the early stages of this match. Certainly not the discipline that they were after. Japan is so fast, says Colin. And also, how there are 804 watching and 113 likes. Come on, guys, says David. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like on this live stream. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are only 73 away from the subscriber goal by the end. Oh, beautiful flick from Tamatine. Went to the short side to Ben Lamb, but he did knock the ball on. Unfortunately, that was the play, and he was half asleep. He knew it was going to him as well, Ben Lamb. Just straight through the hands there. It's a great pass from Tamatine. Literally precision personified there, and Ben Lamb just missing the ball. And it's just one of those moments that, like, that's one that the coach looks at and goes, that was our one chance to try that plan, and now, unfortunately, the ball has gone out. Our Wales have a Kiwi coach. They're doing great, says Mr. Lerman. Get some points, says Revelation. And also, I just needed to break one tackle, says the New Age. Yeah, it would have been awesome to see him go for that corner, whether or not Matsushima would have been able to stop him out on that wing. Now it's going to be the scrum for Japan once more. They are 15 metres out from their line, gone down in the front rows. So we are going to have another reset. Ben Lamb, wake up, says it was Falifatu. And that's the thing, in the last game, he also didn't really have the best performance, hardly touched the ball. And it's always that case of, if you're not going to touch the ball much, you got to make sure that when you do get that ball, it is memorable. For Ben Lamb, that is memorable for all the wrong reasons, because it should have been a good chance at a try. They are just showing on the live table, the way that it currently sits would have Japan on 9 and Samoa on 6 if the result did stay the same as it is here. That is a pass that you have to hold on to at this level, says Ocker. And I think Samoa will win this game. Japan, unfortunately, not as good as they were in 2019. Says George, and goes Samoa. Says Claire there as well. Now, nice scrum looking solid from Japan. Nagari goes off to the left-hand side, off to Dylan Riley. In fact, no, that was going to be the man at inside centre, Nakamura, and the penalty won by Samoa, getting over the ball, not releasing penalty. Now Samoa have another decision to make. Do they go for the 3 here, or do you go for the full 7 available? And high Hamish load shedding is a frustration. What did you think of Namibia yesterday? I thought they started their match extremely well. They were in it for that first maybe about 45 minutes, but then as soon as they did end up giving away that first yellow card, it slowly went downhill from there, unfortunately. And they just ran out of puff later on in the game. Come on, Lamb. I need to turn into the big Billy Goat. Says Sion, the Samoans are huge in Japan. As fast, this is perfect, says Colin Player. Now, D'Angelo Laula, he will be the man who once again lines up the kick. Interesting that they have opted to go with him from this close rather than Christian Leliafano. So I'm about 20 metres out now. I can see Samoa taking it. If they don't do something stupid, says Galmac. And also Samoa look edgy and stressed. They can win if they are more serious, says Jody. Now Laula does get that kick over. So now making the score 7 points to 3. Samoa starting to mount their comeback. And if Italy beat France, then it'll be better for Dupont. Says Morning, and good morning, Hamish. I think Japan 22, Samoa 24. It's raining here, says Kevin. Also, you go on an identical score to the Pacific Nations Cup when these two sides did go head-to-head in Japan. And it was a massive upset at that stage. Although I feel like from there we started to learn that Samoa was certainly a lot better than some people anticipated, and then Japan were maybe not quite in the form that they would have liked to be in heading into this Rugby World Cup. But they will kick it off high now. I love Samoa's resurgence. They belong. They truly do. And I love how Japan steadily become a threat over the years too, says Mr. Novel Bro. Now inside of the 22, Tamatine rolling it back. Put up the box kick now. Does get some decent distance on it. Down towards the halfway line. Japan considered the quick throw of Matsushima. But in the end, he's still considering it by the looks of it. And morning, Hamish. Our Uso at the Manu Chahu says Laurie there. Welcome in. Doing very well. I should mention that, ladies and gentlemen, we are covering every game of this Rugby World Cup, and that includes a few more games of this week. As you can see, tomorrow will be Italy versus New Zealand, Argentina versus Chile, Fiji versus Georgia, and Scotland versus Romania. They are all the three games that are taking place on Sunday. Then on Monday, New Zealand time, it is Australia versus Portugal, as well as South Africa versus Tonga to close out the round. We have got their Pearl Harbor victory. Says it was there from Mr. Lerman. Also, congrats to the Irish team. They played very well, and also the Box played very well. Says George, nice run forward from Japan. That was Michael Leach that time. No advantage. Player leaving his feet. That was Fritz Lee, who has been penalised for that one. Double blow of the whistle. Oh. Someone said something. I think it's a Japanese player. Okay. That's the second penalty in a row. One of the Japanese players have been charging towards the ref. And it is Yako Piper for this one, Gareth. But yeah, he pretty much said if that player keeps on coming over to me, I'll consider reversing one of these ones. Good morning from Australia. Go Samoa, says Mose. And also good to see Rod Stewart playing for Samoa, says Kelmac. And good ref, SA ref, says the new age. Now, looks like it is going to be a 3-point attempt here for Matsuda from 44 metres out on the angle, I would say he is. And also we have got there Afrikaans. I assume that's like, do you know Afrikaans? I do not, sadly. I only know a little tiny bit, which is only like 2 sentences. I love the Samoan Fuff de Klerk, says Laurie there. And also Samoa can do this. Just need to pile the points on early. And IO is winning, says Sanapi. At the moment, it is Japan. They have got themselves another 3-point attempt here. Apparently, this kick is 20 metres out, even though he's more than double that, I would say, at this stage. We have got there, Hamish, do you play Super Rule or any rugby fantasy games? I do not. I'm terrible at predictions. So, yeah, Super Rule is one of those ones that I've never quite got into, mainly because I'm terrible at predicting games. But that kick has gone over from Matsuda. And that is now going to make the score 10 points to 3 in favour of the Japanese. We have got Cool Story Bro, says Gus. And 900 watching bro, says Michael. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are now only 67 away from the goal by the end of the live stream. So if you do want to help us out, it is greatly appreciated. We're here for all the Rugby World Cup games, including the 2 matches next week for these 2 sides and their quarterfinals, if they do make it that far. I love your French jacket. Sportif, says Jody. Yeah, it is a French Rugby League World Cup jacket. It's a little bit of the wrong sport, but yeah, it's quite nice. I like it. And good morning from Samoa. Go Manu, says Rebecca. And also Hamish, is George going to help out this World Cup, says Laurie. Unfortunately, his working schedule has made it very tricky to be able to have him on for any streams. In fact, I don't think we've had him on for a single minute as of yet. He's been close to coming for, I think he was going to join me for England versus Argentina, and he was almost on his way in, and then he got called into work. So that is the closest that we've been to having George on a Rugby World Cup live stream. But yeah, I think after the World Cup, in terms of the URC, a few of those later morning games, he is going to be at a different job by that stage. So maybe we will be able to get him on for those ones. Nicely taken by Michael Leach. Good challenge by Brian Elena Usi, but doesn't end up with the ball there. Only 29 minutes in line up the facial here before rugby finals game. Suno so says, Michael, the only way I can line it up is if it actually grows, which at the moment it's extremely patchy, unfortunately. George is too busy with his potatoes, says Gareth. Good morning from Samoa. Go Manu, says Rebecca there. Currently Samoa with the possession. Duncan Paiaua, the first receiver, goes off now to Brian Aluamile, who looked like his 3 on the back of his jersey was half by hanging off at the moment. Now it's put high. Nakabula unable to take it cleanly, and it's another knock on from Samoa. We have good there. The suit was dope though. Jump okay. Yo, what it do? Says it was. Okay, I'm going to try my best to pronounce your name. I do apologise if I get it wrong. Is it Fiwa or Fiwa Manla? Fiwa Manla? Hopefully I've said that correctly. But yeah, the suit, I'm not actually sure if we got the suit for this weekend. It might be on for the last game of the weekend. We may end up putting it on. Is there many Super Rugby players playing, bro? Says Mr. Loom. Quite a few, or some ex-Super Rugby players in there as well. So for the Samoans ex-Super Rugby, you've got the likes of Stephen Luatua. You've also got Ben Lamb out on the wing. Tamatine does play for Moana Pacifica, and that is actually the case for quite a few of the Samoan side. Whether that's Danny Tuala off the bench, Tamua Manu, a heap of the individuals. But now Nagari breaking off the back of the scrum here for Japan. Matsuda, space starting to open up on this right-hand side. Dylan Riley with the nice pass off to Lameki, who breaks through 3 tackles once more. He has been very dangerous since making his way onto the park in that last game. It's going to be another penalty advantage now for the Japanese. Matsuda, consider the cross kick, and see it goes off to Matsushima, who breaks through 1 tackle, dragged down 5 meters from the line. Now Nagari, Matsushima over the top, and it's going to be the try for Michael Leach in the corner. Japan get themselves another, and it sounds like there is going to be a yellow card here for Samoa. Or is there? 9 on the wrong side of the tackle, pushes. It's going to be a yellow card for Jonathan Tamatine. How could there come on Argentina, says Mario. And that was a terrible defence, says a new age. And as well, but Jonathan Tamatine now making his way to the bin for the next 10 minutes, and that is going to be just before the end of the first half. 4 pass surely, says Calmet. We are going to see it from this angle. It looked like that last pass from Matsuda did drift forward possibly. So yeah, they've said that Tamatine, because he's joined from the wrong side of the breakdown. Yeah, it doesn't show us from the behind angle. This one will. It's flat. I think that they'll say that that's all right, though. And Japan off to a great start, says DJ. Do you think Canada will make it into the next World Cup? I think they've got a decent chance, Canada. They've got a very strong side when they get it right. It's just unfortunate for them that a few of the games that they needed to play well were the games that they had a little bit of an off day. And we have got their Bulla Hamish come on Samoa, 3Ds, discipline, defence, and tackles, says Mr. Billy. And Samoa went nowhere there. No defence. And on top of it, a yellow, says Ocker. Yeah. Now they've got a bit of a mountain to climb when the second half starts. Great kick from Matsuda. The kick is over. 17 points to 3 now in favour of Japan as they start to chase their bonus point here. And right, today has been horrible for my Super Rugby Fantasy team. Does Scotland really have to send a B squad for Romania? So why not the predictor as well? Had Samoa by 2. Says Vince, although I should mention the game is not over yet. I also have Samoa to win this game by 2 points. Although I have to say, for the Samoans, am I right in saying it was a huge risk playing Duncan Paiua after his poor performance in the last contest? I would have thought they'd rather go with Danny Tuala at the back just to give them a bit more stability. But Duncan Paiua at the moment, anytime the line has been broken by Japan, he's just been nowhere to be seen. Now Japan inside of the 22. Now going to have this ball, Nagari. Going across again. Oh, okay, Danny Tuala is now on the field, but that is for D'Angelo Leula. Although that may work, because of course you could see Duncan Paiua going into the midfield, which I believe is actually where he plays better, and then have Danny Tuala at the back. Okay, there, did you see the Eddie Jones interview, says Toby? I did not know. I assume it was something along the lines of, I take full responsibility, similar to what he did after the game. He'll say, I'm not going to Japan, and that'll be about it. And please beat Japan. And also we have got their Dan says clear. Now Samoa 38 metres out. Christian Leleofano having to play halfback here. Great offload to Tamua Manu. Trying to bump through the tackle. Matsushima, and he does just that, making a few extra metres in the process. Now Leleofano going across to Fritz Lee. Now Danny Tuala. Short pass up. Around the side of the breakdown. Duncan Paiua with the pick and go. Brian Aloamile. Couple metres made there for the Samoans. They need to make sure that they are scoring while they have got a man down. Nice run from Danny Tuala. Tries to find the flick pass out, and it works out this time. Theo McFarlane. Pass on the outside to Tamua Manu, who's almost been slide tackled. That's got to be a question mark of whether or not he was taken out deliberately by the Japanese defense. The crowd are booing it. Yako is going to go upstairs. Okay, they want to check to see whether or not Tamua Manu has fallen over him, which I believe he has, but it's only because the Japanese player is lying down in the way. We have got there who got sent off. It was Jonathan Tamatine. Yeah, see, Naikabula's done nothing there but lie down. So this has to be looked at a little bit more. No, they're just going to say play on. Okay, never mind. But for me, Naikabula, he knew that he wasn't getting that ball. So he just kind of lay there and became an obstacle for the Samoan Tamua Manu running through. And fine now, Samoa now or never. Best ref in the World Cup, says Ron. Although I think it's TMO Marius Yonka may have missed something there. Now Christian Leleofano going back across to Duncan Pyle. Looking a lot better since making his way into the midfield here. Shota Hori looks like he's a little bit rocked after a bit of heavy head contact. Breaking news, Natbota spotted kicking for the Poles. A secret location. Says Sean Lees. The Springboks is on Sunday, says Band Engineering. They certainly are. Or Monday here in New Zealand. Now, Danny Tawala breaking forward. Michael Leach makes the tackle on him. And surprisingly, Samoa have had a lot more of the ball since going down to 14 men. Now, James Lay around the side of the breakdown. Brian Aluamele, he follows suit. Now to the right here again. Jordan Taufua driving his legs. Luatua around the side of the breakdown. This is quick play from Samoa, phase after phase. Danny Tawala, Waikato pass now. Out to Ed Fidel. Tries to bump off Naikabula. And the penalty does go the way of the Samoans. Or sorry, goes the way of the Japanese. They're checking something though. There's a head clash. It's got to be Shota Hori, I believe. And his tackle attempt on Duncan Paiaua. Oh, yes, they are actually. It is the one that they're going back for. I saw it at the time, thought that it looked a little bit high. And now Shota Hori, he might be in a little bit of trouble here as well. Yeah, it's head on head. There's no duck from Shota Hori. The way that the law book is, that's probably going to be a yellow card. Yeah, I've got there, mate. It's been a while. I guess he's back again. Is he back? Delafred says, is he? Welcome in, mate. Once again, it is great to have you back. Yellow card for Shota Hori is just around the corner. He's working on the theory that if he doesn't look at the referee will forget that he got a yellow card. It's going to be a yellow card. And now, the next 10 minutes, they are going to determine whether or not they will be upgraded to a red. If rugby players smart, they will need advantage. They will run head on head into a defender, says the New Age. And also, we have got there. Can we have 10 more likes in 10 seconds, says Stefania. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are only 60 away from the subscriber goal. So if you do want to help us out, it is greatly appreciated. But now, both of these sides going to be playing with 14 men on the field. I mentioned about discipline and how important it would be. Both sides have been risking it quite a bit throughout the early stages. Rugby ain't like Colin Pinetree and Mead days. Not even close. Or even closer, Norm Hewitt. Says Herrera. Hopefully I said that correctly. And now it says Michael in there as well. So now Samoa, they have got themselves the penalty. Jonathan Tamatine's yellow will remain as a yellow, I should mention as well, seeing as it wasn't a challenge in the same regard as a lot of the yellow cards that we have seen throughout this Rugby World Cup. Nicely kicked into touch there by Samoa, now 6 metres out from the line, and a big chance for Say Lalalam if he can get this one straight. The rolling mauler Samoa has already been able to make quite a few metres throughout this game. Thank you for the live, says Parisi. No worries at all. And does Japan have better backs or forwards, says Colin? I would say, their backs are normally their foundation, but their forwards are normally their foundation, but their back line is extremely strong when it is flowing. And it's one of the smoothest when they get a right big rolling maul here for Samoa. Sailalalam falls over the line, scores the try, and Samoa now back into the contest. I think more likes people, and that's the fact. Well, that's the first time I've seen two players go face to face like that. Says Fleshin, what a try. Japan looks so ridiculous. Says Jody, although they do still have themselves a 9-point lead as the game currently sits. Seeing a lot of high fives there from Tamua Manu, but it is SAMOA Lamb. Samoa so far throughout this Rugby World Cup, if you're playing at number 16 or 2, you actually got a much higher chance of scoring than some of those other positions in this side. They should have done that the first time. Instead, they wanted the trick blind side, says the New Age. Although saying that, if Ben Lamb had been able to catch that ball, it could have been an effective tool for the Samoans. It's just the fact that he wasn't able to hang on to it that changed the outcome of that set play. And your beauty said, Sai, that is better Samoa, says Kurt. You can see James Lay fired up there after being able to score that try for the Samoans. Although, of course, it was SAMOA Lamb who was able to get that try. I should mention with D'Angelo Leula going off the field, it means now Christian Lealiofano will take over the kicking tee. Shots Hori. Upright, no mitigation, says Jimmy O'Brien. Rugby has turned into Hamish for me, says Cool Story. Bro, this one hooked for Lealiofano away to the left-hand side, so that will remain now 17 points to 8 between these two sides. We have got there, I want to see England versus France, says Colin. So I think the earliest that can happen is the semi-final, if I'm not wrong. Am I correct in that regard? Now Shotahori still eagerly awaiting to see whether or not his card will be upgraded to a red or whether he will be remaining as that yellow card. But now kicking off, still 30 seconds remaining in the first half. So both of these sides, I believe they wouldn't mind this half coming to a close. It's been relatively fast-paced, nicely taken by Stephen Luatua. They've got 20 seconds here. Looks like Tamatine. In fact, no, sorry, Lealiofano. He's going to kick this one downfield himself. Does get it into touch, but it's now given Japan the last chance of the half. So it's interesting that Samoa didn't go with just one more phase, put it into touch, and then that would have been the end of it. So whatever Japan do here is definitely a bonus for them. Looks like it's going to be Michael Leach, in fact, who will be throwing this ball in for the Japanese. Can he get this one right? No, that was, well, it wasn't that straight, but Samoa have been able to take that ball back with Theo McFarland, and now they will have the last chance of the half. Brian Aluamele currently on the halfway line. Perhaps that was some of the thinking behind it for Christian Lealiofano, knowing that the Japanese did not have their stock standard hooker on the field. Now James Lay around the side of the breakdown. Tackled by Matsuda. It will be New Zealand versus Wales, says Grant. Now driving tackle on Jordan Taufua, Christian Lealiofano. Ball is available for him now. The up and under from Samoa. I don't understand what their tactic is here. Ben Lamb hasn't caught anything in this game. And once again, it's gone through his hands. Now Duncan Paihua, the other out-of-form player for the Samoans, has dropped it. And that's going to be half-time now, ladies and gentlemen. Third position in the group. It's important to be in the next Rugby World Cup, right? Says Mikhail, exactly right. Whoever ends up third does not have to go through qualification for the next Rugby World Cup competition. And I'm watching from Samoa. The weather is great. The sun shines bright. The wind is getting away since this morning, says Parisi. I love the way you express the game, my friend, says Chloe. Thank you very much. And evening, everyone. Late to the party as Japan showing us flames, says Denzel. South Africa versus New Zealand in the final, says Claire. Yeah, as well. But yeah, halftime in this contest, 17 points to 8. Both sides still dealing with the yellow card scenarios. But it almost looked like Samoa, as soon as they got their yellow card, they actually started going a little bit better. It's as if that was the motivation that they needed to go, right, now we're up against it. Let's play some rugby. And I wonder whether or not early on in the second half they might actually consider going for Melani Matavao rather than Jonathan Tamatine again. But I have some information, ladies and gentlemen, that I have just seen. Of course, I'm getting the stats from that first half. The countdown to the Rugby World Cup final, it is now 29 days, 23 hours, 10 minutes and 9 seconds till the Rugby World Cup final, ladies and gents. So under a month away. It's going to be very exciting. But we saw 2 tries for the Japanese in this game. We saw Peter Lavaskachny get himself one in the 13th minute, and then Michael Leach was able to score the other in the 32nd. SAMOA Lamb, the lone try scorer for the Samoans, that was in the 38th minute. Will Australia have to qualify for the World Cup again? They will not, because they are hosting the Rugby World Cup. So, yeah, they don't actually have to qualify for that one. I actually got corrected when I was saying it on the Australia versus Wales stream. How many South Africans in here? Says it was there from, I believe it was Grant. Yes, it was. And it should happen. Or if it should happen, that South Africa and Ireland should play in the final. I bet South Africa will then beat Ireland. Says Desmond. And South Africa and New Zealand only in the semi. Says Stefan. And also we have got there the French coach says he studies the choice of Dupont to play against Italy. But he is sure to play in the quarterfinals. Says Jody. Well, that's the thing. It's a big risk for them because you don't want his face to get broken anymore. And you don't want any sort of serious damage to be done to Dupont. Of course, he's an important player for the French, but at some stage, you've got to look at it and go, when you're playing with a fractured face, how much permanent damage could be inflicted for Dupont if he takes another head knock in this game? And also, Lavaskachny says, Rudy, and honestly, it's not looking good for Samoa. Their kicker isn't good. Leliofano says the new age. And yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle at the moment for them to be able to get those extra points on the board. But looking through at some of the stats from this first half, most tackles made was actually Shota Hori. I wonder if they included that one where he tackled with his face as one of them. More than likely they did, but 15 in that first half has been extremely busy. 89 metres made for Lamano Lameki. Also, the most carries over the gain line is Lamano Lameki as well. Samoa winning in the second half. I'm going to bet 1,900 on it. Says Adolf Ryan. And also we have got there a bad word from NRG. And Japan discipline needs to improve. Their attacking game is fine, but just need better position. Samoa attacking game is still bad, says Ars Robinson. I think there's a couple main players on the field that just aren't quite stepping up to the plate. I mentioned that Duncan Paia'ua needed a massive game here. And all he's shown is that he probably shouldn't have been in the starting lineup to start with for this game. Alongside that, other players who haven't quite, like Christian Leliofano, don't get me wrong, huge amount of experience under his belt, but he once again hasn't looked too flash. They haven't got too many other options at 10 though for them. I also might downgrade your quality on field with that kind of injury. Says Mikhail, Japanese team Nagaria is not in this game. Is he not? Oh no, Naito Saito has started at number 9. So quite a few late changes for both of these sides, because I saw that it was Stephen Luatua actually started the match, so it is instead Kenta Fukuda who will be coming off the bench. My apologies there. So far, the success at set piece for the Samoans, they have won 100% of the 8 that they've had. Samoa starting 15 was very questionable, says Ars Robinson. We have got the I'm no doctor, but it seems dangerous to have him play. Yeah, it's one thing to, I guess, like risk it, but then it's another thing if something does go massively wrong. Because are World Rugby going to end up with a lawsuit 5 years from now? What if Dupont, I'm going to quickly do a wee Google. What happens if you fracture a cheekbone, then take contact? This is a really long way of wording it. They're talking about how to tell if you've got a cheekbone. It could end up with facial disfigurement, loss of facial function if not professionally treated. And I would say that by playing in a game that could end up with a head knock, that is what I would consider as pretty serious, you know? But yeah, of course, I'm no doctor. I am the furthest thing from it. There is permanent cheek damage. And yeah, it's one thing for Dupont to say, I want to represent my country. But it's another thing for World Rugby. Like, they're probably going to have to step in and say, look, we can't have you out there. Because or else then, if you end up with some sort of serious injury, and I'm talking like, if it's already fractured and then he gets hit there again and something goes wrong, like we mentioned, permanent damage is one thing. I assume that there are also further risks than that. And also we have got this guy, I got what it takes to do professional commentary, says Grant. Thank you very much. Anyone who has had surgery knows what it will take out of you, even apart from having a fragile cheek, says Yvonne. And also we have got their semi-finals, says Stefan, and yeah, bro, I need to get signed for a network, try sevens for New Zealand. Says the New Age, I absolutely love my sevens. We are going to be covering every leg of the sevens circuit as well, I should mention, when it does come back around in December. Zach Nisbo and Hi Hamish is the commentator for New Zealand Rugby. Says Marco, you're playing that soon after any surgery is going to be tough. Says Gareth. Yeah, so I don't like the idea of him risking it. I know that for France, they don't like the idea of having to play without Dupont. But, like, yeah, you got to take the consideration of what could happen if it ends up going worse. We have got their potential complications. If the re-injury is severe and involves other structures in the face, such as the eye socket or nearby nerves, can lead to additional complications. Exactly right. And who's the person who will be held responsible if something goes seriously wrong for Dupont? And then, where do you go from there? Do you say, oh, we gave him the option to not play, but he wanted to? It's going to be, well, he was probably on medication from his sore cheekbone. So someone should have stepped in. He'll not be allowed to do any activity for 10 days at least. Says Albert, yeah, because I heard something about how he's going to be back to training very soon. Like non-contact training, which even running around with a fractured cheekbone would be painful enough, I would think. He's always going to want to play. It's a doctor who should decide. Yep, exactly right. No Dupont for France is like no Marvin Ori for South Africa. It's an instant finals loss. Says Ian Foster, throwing the ball in, wasn't straight. From Japan, 4 pass, last try, stupid ref. Says James there, and this was about 3 weeks ago. Says Adolf, and also Samoa will have a massive advantage if Japan hooker yellow turns red, says LJ the man. Very true, and we will have to wait to see whether or not Shotahori does have his card upgrade. They are just showing that first try, Lavaskachny, and the second try was scored by Michael Leach off the wide cutout pass. We've got there on TV, says Grant. And also, their team doctor makes that call, right, says Sean Lees. True, but is that team doctor going to be held accountable if he says, nah, he'll be right, get him out there? Might as well. What's the worst that can happen? And then Dupont loses some sort of functionality in his face in the future. I think some people fail to consider that France will have put in heaps of pre-Rugby World Cup plans and sessions to avoid or to account for injuries to their 19 axis. They cover for all such eventualities. France will fire, says Gernowek. Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, like Luku's been pretty strong overall in the last 12 or 24 months. So I don't think he's done too much wrong when he's been on the field. It's just the fact that everyone has gone with Dupont for so long, if that makes sense. I'm in South Africa. I cannot watch the game live, says Desmond. I just realised it will be in Hungary. Or I will be in Hungary for the semis. Didn't think I would be worried by that. Says Fleshin, and just joined us. Samoa's going backwards, says Leonard Taylor. It's been a couple players in this first half who've really been, like, I don't want to say it, but they're dragging the chain a little bit. The likes of Duncan Paioa, he has not looked flash throughout this half. I would have liked to see him go off earlier on, but because of that injury that they had, it meant that they did have to keep him out there for just that little bit longer. Lavaskachny was a cheater and then a lion. Says Albert, could I try to run into your head, try to get you sent off as a tactic? Says Jimmy O'Brien. Well, that's the thing. If you find the hardest head in your side, is it something we will see in the future? Because at the end of the day, if they don't tackle you low, then more than likely the man who's the tackler will be the one penalised. This is my VAM, says Rudy in there. But now looking through at some of the other stats throughout that first half, 6 penalties conceded by the Japanese compared to the 3 conceded by Samoa. The handling was definitely the more talking point out of the 2 in the first half. And running meter is actually extremely similar. 189 for Samoa, 182 for the opposition. In this contest, in defended beaten, 15 for Samoa, 12 for Japan. The Box deliberately threw the game against Ireland as a strategic move. They France with Dupont missing. Easy road to the finals, says Terence. Although if they did do that, that could also be considered match fixing, which I feel like if any of the players or coaches ever admitted that, then South Africa would be in some serious trouble and possibly, I mean, that's the thing, match fixing would get you at least banned for a few years, I would think, in the world of rugby, so it's the last thing the Springboks want to do. So if anyone says that narrative, they will be the first team to say, no, that wasn't the case, because or else we could get ourselves in a lot of trouble. Samoa Nines was going to go rehearse with Flock of Seagulls for a minute. Says Gus, why did the All Blacks not play last weekend? And it's because they had a bye. There are 5 teams in each of the groups, and it meant that with the way that it's set up, New Zealand, they were going to have a bye at some stage, so week 3 was the one that they did have off. We have got AJ Lamb over Ben Lamb. I'd agree. At the moment, Ben Lamb has shown, this sounds harsh, but nothing in this game that tells us he is going to be a threat for the future for the Samoans. Looking through at some of the stats, I'll try and find them. Ben Lamb, 21 metres carried in that first half, which is, more than I thought that he had. On defence so far, where is he? Ben Lamb, he's made 1 tackle and missed 1 tackle. So he's 50% for his tackling stat in that first half, alongside also only having a couple of runs, dropping the ball a couple times alongside it. Nobody will lose on purpose, says Herman. And also we have got there, keep rugby on side, says Sean Lees, I should say. And also the French coach, will be blamed upon shortened career, says Mornay. And also we have got there, Springboks match fixing, please explain, says LJ. That was the comment made earlier on when, Terrence said about how the Boks deliberately threw the game away for that one. And please explain to me how difficult it would be to use your hands with a samurai sword, like a little white bee. Would be to use your hands with a samurai. Well, most people use their hands to hold a sword. There's probably a world record for chopping the most fruit with your feet with a sword or some sort of thing like that. The first drive for Japan looked like obstruction, says the New Age. And the momentum France receiving in their home crowd gives them the steam. And also, I love where Rugby World Cup more than soccer, despite being a rugby fan, being a soccer fan mainly, says Adolf. I played for 3 weeks, getting pumped up for with morphine, 2 broken ribs at finals end of the season. Oh, the good old days, says Peter Wild. And a loss is a loss, too many people involved to have a game thrown like that, says Stefan. Yeah, at the end of the day, in the end, the win did go the way of the Irish. Those 2 sides, I mentioned it, they could play 5 times, and I believe it would be 3 wins for one team, 2 for another. Man with the scrum cap with the score on it. If Lamb had run less flat, they would have been in the position to catch that pass, says Gus. Are we talking the one off the scrum? Because I think it was just, it went straight through his hands. Unfortunately, rugby gets paid for the last 2 years of high school, says Cool Story Bro. Are we going to do another Rugby Challenge 4 video with George? At some stage, we'll hopefully be able to do one, although it might be on the new rugby game that does come out. The next match has been announced for Ireland, says Odolf. So their next game is going to be up against the Scottish. That is next week that they are going to be playing. And Ben Lamb off, Nuria Famai on, says Mose. So I'd say that is a good choice for the Samoans. We have got there, I would have loved Blackadder. Then Papali to start for the ABs versus Italy, says Lowry. The second half now just about to start. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are only 50 away from our goal by the end of this live stream. How much time is left for the yellow? It sounds like Jaco Piper has said that Shota Hori's yellow will remain as a yellow here. So he will be back out onto the field in about 4 or 5 minutes. Wales All Black in the final, says David. Hey, what it would be a throw or a throw off, wouldn't it? In terms of definitely not a final that a lot of people have predicted. And thanks for the commentary. It is great South Africa, says Neville. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciated. Now it's going to be kicked off high by Japan. Both sides still playing with 14 on the field for the first little while of the second half, and James Lay already receiving the offload from Theo McFarland. Samoa knocking the ball on. In this case, I believe it was Brian Alana Usi trying to offload it from his back. Decision making is something that comes to mind here for Samoa that they are certainly getting wrong. I have a broken foot right now. I don't know how that's possible with an injection or not, says the New Age. And if Japan wins, will that see Japan go to the quarterfinals? Not quite. So they would also have to win their game next week up against Argentina, or at least stay very close in it to get some bonus points and rely on the Argentines to lose to Chile. So it's relatively tricky, but they do need to win next week. Easy money, their momentum will win it, says Adolf. And also we have got there, like Gamers said, no one would admit it anyway, just a potential conspiracy theory, says Terrence. And also, when are you going to do Blues Co-op Career Mode Season 2 with George? Probably never. I don't think if we were to do another Career Mode on Rugby Challenge or anything like that, it would probably be a different team as well. We have got there England. Dark horses in this World Cup seem like they are peaking at the right time, says Rishan. Yeah, they haven't really done too much wrong throughout their group, which I feel like is massively, I guess, beneficial for them. The fact that they came into this Rugby World Cup a little bit out of form, losing to the Fijians, and now that could be the quarter-final that we do get to see. It's going to be exciting. But it does take place. And now nice run forward from Lemeki, the man who had the most carry meters and also the most carries over the gain line throughout that first half for the Japanese with 5. It's put high from Naito Saito, and it's going to be marked by Duncan Paiua. Kick downfield again. Very good kick. We have got there, get Freeling up there, Samoa. I have trouble sleeping with a broken toe. Says, cool story, bro. And also we have got there, come on Samoa, you can do it, says the New Age. Are we going to do an Otago Career Mode and Rugby Challenge 4? We probably won't. I think the next team's probably a North Island side again that we would be doing it for. But now throw is straight. I see taken by Michael Leach. Now Saito kicking it almost straight up in the air. Nicely taken by Theo McFarland for the Samoans. And they have now got the man advantage for the next 3.5 minutes. So they need to make the most of it. Leliofano going across now and they're kicking the ball in behind yet again. I don't think Samoa's natural game is the kicking. I'll be honest, every time that they do the kicking territory battle, they do end up losing a big shot there. Coming in on Jonathan Tamatine by Manu Lemeki. I've been listening to the comments. This is how stupid rumours start. Why on earth do the Springboks throw a game? Rugby is not cricket. I've never heard of such an absurd suggestion. South Africa, Cape Town, says Goldberg. And there as well. First knock he takes to the head area will force a precautionary substitute. So I bother till he's recovered properly. See, there's no scenario that DuPont doesn't end up getting slightly worse overall in terms of his injury. Because, it's not even the head contact that will do it to him. Head contact's the worst case scenario, but they always talk about how when you get hit in the body with your head whipping back and anything like that, that's all going to jiggle around his facial muscles that are trying to stay still and recover from his injury, as well as the bone that is fractured. My real name is Levi. I'm 8. Says Bono there, and Samoa needs to win this game. Come on, boys, says Barisi, and now they've got the line out throw nicely taken by Stephen Luatua. Inside of the 22 now for Manu Samoa. Going off to Seilalam, the lone try scorer for these Samoans at this stage. When the time comes, I get the feeling says Rudy. Back across to the right-hand side, James Lay over the ball though. Kazuki Hamano wins the penalty for Japan. Looked like Salto was getting relatively close to taking that one quickly. Shout out to my pregnant daughter listening to you, Hamish, in the city of Sales, says Repent. Now, the city of Sales, I should know where that is. It should be common knowledge. Somewhere that's windy, maybe, but shout out to your daughter. Of course, Repent. It's going to really annoy me, though, that I can't think of where the city of Sales is. I get rid of Stephen Luatoa, useless. Says Mr. Kiwi for life, and the Springboks will never lose a game on purpose. Never we are proudly South African. Auckland. Yes. There it is. And Pollard faces the risk of being injured again as well, guys. Is it worth it, says Sean Lees? Well, it certainly adds more pressure on not just Pollard, but also Mani Libok in general. So it's a risk for the Springboks. If it works, then it's going to be fine for them. If it doesn't work, that's a massive tackle without the ball from Jonathan Tamatine. No advantage. He's already playing with a yellow card. I feel like the sooner Samoa can get Milani Matavao onto the field, the better it will be. Luatua is hopeless. Just slows down the breakdown, says Sir Michael. Yeah, because of course they didn't actually have him in the starting side, but because of the injuries, we did see him ending up. Get him promoted, and repeat big love to your daughter, mate. Happy for you and your family, says Marco. Matsuda to kick this ball into touch. Japan still another 30 seconds remaining of the yellow card. Looks like Shotohori having a bit of a chat there with Craig Miller, as well as Aivalu, two props who will be making their way onto the field. No, don't calm down. This guy's a great commentator, says Adolf. I told you they should have brought Malani Matavawan, says the New Age. Yep. And I think that was the change to make as soon as Tamatena returned from his yellow card. Also, Duncan Paioa off, Naria Famai on, I believe, is the other options that they should go with. Have Naria Famai in the midfield, and then have Danny Tawala drop back to fullback. That's the thing, though. Samoa, they have gone with a few things that some people would be like, why have they done that? And I'm wondering whether or not that will cost them in this game if they can't get it right with those selections. Now, Matsuda wide, slinging pass out wide to Dylan Riley. Now, Salto almost going through the referee over the ball. Not able to get the turn over the box. Don't throw games. Not a thought. Says Robin there. Maybe should be an international commentator, says LJ. I think I'm a little way off that still. Of course, I've got a lot more to learn about the game on rugby. Losing on purpose. It's just another one of their many excuses. When they lose, woo, says Ric Flair. But that is going to be a nice tackle made from Ben Lamb. The reason I say that is because now his tackle percentage goes up to 66%. Say Lala Lamb, he was on the ball. Or sorry, on the man rather than the ball. So no penalty one. Saito now goes off to Kazuki Hamano, who drops the shoulder into Brian Aluamile. But this is great phase play from the Japanese, still playing with a man advantage. Or sorry, disadvantage. As we currently sit, knock on though. And now Ed Fidel. He's got the option of pass out to Duncan Paioa. We've got a stoppage though. Oh no. Okay, Ben Lamb made the tackle, but he did it illegally by the sounds of it. Which is already an international commentator, says Gus. But Ben Lamb, if it couldn't get any worse for him in this game, we might see him go to the bin for a yellow card now. Right. Let's see it. Yep, on the head, that's a yellow card at least. If not getting upgraded, yeah, that's a red card from Ben Lamb. Samoa, the discipline, throwing away this game by the looks of it. It meets the yellow card threshold for Ben Lamb. Now we'll be making his way off the field for the next 10 minutes. More cards. These rules suck. Says it was Ric Flair. Thank you, Hamish Auckland. Says repent. And what a shocker, says Si. Yeah, I said he actually made a tackle, but unfortunately he didn't make a legal one. And also Mapusua just swapping their positions like Pokemon cards. Says Sir Michael. Pollard has 83% accuracy over Labok 69, but I prefer Labok in his attacking and defensive abilities. Says Stefano, don't bring Ben Lamb back on ever. Says Falafatu. Yeah, that's the thing. If he ends up with his yellow card upgraded to a red, they're going to be at a big disadvantage. Oh, I'm off to sleep, Samoa. I'm going to lose. Congrats, Japan. Says Mr. Kiwi for life. And waiting a try, says Jody. And now they have got the perfect chance, Japan, to be able to get themselves another try. Manu Samoa missing X Factor like we used to have. Big hitters like Brian Lima, Tuolangi, etc. A team missing that passion and drive that our team is usually known for. Take Ben Lamb off. Well, unfortunately, Fatu has taken himself off with that yellow card. And also Samoa, same problem. Sounds like forwards too slow. And all the players they could discipline and not playing smart. Musical yellow cards, and that's it for Samoa. Unfortunately, Japan will win. That's going to be a red, says Brian. Yeah, it does seem like it's going to be upgraded. Looks like now Fritz Lee. They've got an HIA for the Japanese, I believe, here. And that's a silly league tackle, says Fleshin. Right, Warner Dernsey is now on the field for Peter Labaskachny. If you're a good sportsman, you will accept a loss for me. Then can only be one team as a winner. That is a team who used their opportunities to their advantage. We lost to Ireland, says Desmond. Hamish, did you know Manu Tuolangi's name is Manu Samoa Tuolangi? I did not know. But that's because I don't believe it is. But Manu Tuolangi, he's almost got through this whole competition without an injury, which is pretty awesome for him. For the English, now rolling maul, still going forward here. An advantage to Japan, but that one being dragged down by Samoa. in through the side, stopping at another penalty against the Samoans here. We have got the, I reckon, get a cover Jake the Muss on for Samoa, says David. And also, will Japan move up if they win, says Kevin? They certainly will. So Samoa ranked 12th, Japan are rated 13th, and I believe that they would leapfrog the Samoans with a victory here. This chat getting kind of boring, says Claire. Oh, I do apologise about that. Now 32 metres out from the line. Ben Lamb off the field for another 8.5 minutes. There is a chance that that is going to be upgraded as well to a red, seeing as there wasn't a lot of mitigation in his favour. But Shota Hori now does throw that one in nicely, taken by Jack Cornelison. Now starting to roll forward nicely here for Japan. They're over the try line, and that will be their third try of the contest. Now Samoa's ill-discipline leads to a Japanese try. Once again, we've got the S-Bro, his name after his country, Manu Samoa Tuolangi, says Avito. And no, honest to God, that is his name. Is it? Well, fair play to him. I guess on his passport, it would, wait, no. He'd have an English passport, wouldn't he? We have got there, she's talking about us, Hamish, not you, says Stefan. And also, no, says David. I'm throwing another 1900 on Samoa to win, says Adolf. You are never boring, says Rudy. I just talk a lot. Sometimes I guess I say words over and over. Don't worry, H, you're doing a great job, mate. Says Sion, it has to be a red card straight to the head with little to no rap. Yeah, and hardly any ducking from him as well. So now Japan will take that a little bit more of a lead. Now leading 22 points to 8, still with 30 minutes remaining. Leading by 14 points, and if this kick goes over, that will make it 16 points in their favour. Samoa already 2 yellow cards throughout this game. Ill-discipline. I said it at the start of the game. The side that gave away the least penalties would be the side that had a better chance of winning this game. Kick has been missed by Matsuda just a little bit away to the left-hand side. And I know, no good for Samoa. And that's it now, Samoa. God, I hope you boys move it up, says David. Looks like they are about to make the changes in the front row of Jordan Lane, Michael Alatoa, as well as, I think, Sama Malolo is just around the corner. Leave for 2 minutes. Japan score with Samoa having a red, bunker yellow. What happened? Says Vensa Ben Lamb happened. Unfortunately, he's had a terrible game, and he went on and had an even worse second half when it started. Ended up trying to clothesline a man. We have got there, damn Japan. Okay, the yellow card has been upgraded to a red, which now means that Ben Lamb will not be returning for the rest of this game. Petition to remove as Manu Samoa and chairman, says Sir Michael. And also, I have flu. I'm still having a blast from the past, says George. Right. So Ben Lamb probably going to face a suspension as well. Okay, clear. Or no clear mitigation, they say. What about that kid? His mum named him. I love methamphetamine. That is true. Only in Australia. Why are they so ill-disciplined? I think they get lured in, or they get tied up in the emotion of the game and just don't know how to separate that from the poor discipline side of things. You have to agree with the red. Was a reckless tackle? Yep. Called it as a red as soon as that replay showed it. Are you high on flu, George? Says, cool story, bro. I thought Samoa players are professional, not showing, says Tama. Yeah, it's just easy things that they could avoid in this game is just what they are doing repetitively throughout it. Like, for me, selection-wise, this was not the team that they should have put out up against Japan. I believe Duncan Piola shouldn't have been on the field. Ben Lamb, after the way that he played in that last game, I wouldn't have had him out on the left wing. I would have gone with Nigel Wong and Ed Fidel as the two wingers. Tamatine, I thought that they should have taken off at half-time, given Malani Matavao more of an opportunity, as we've seen what that man can add. To the side who got the red card, it was Ben Lamb, the number 11 for Samoa. And also Ben Lamb, Duncan, and Lealiafano all hit the road, says the New Age, and Japan or Argentina will qualify with England, says Jody. It does seem that way at the moment. Fidel well controlled. Oh, they've said it's gone backwards though. Or sorry, gone forwards. And the frustration for Samoa as this game wears on. Hey guys, sorry I'm late, says Dylan Simpson. No worries at all, mate. It is great to have you there. And also stop talking bad about my country, says Yvonne there. I should be talking about Samoa in that case. Although I wouldn't say we're talking so much badly, we're just giving, I guess, reasonable advice of how they can improve in the near future. Because at the end of the day, we know how strong Samoa can be. The last time these two sides faced off, they did manage to win the game 24 points to 22. That game taking place in Japan, so winning it away from home. But the reason they won that game was because of what they were able to do throughout their fixture. They dug deep, they were all disciplined, and they had a few drop balls along that way as well, but they were still able to put together a couple nice tries to help get them over the line. That kind of thing. Full circle of prep might have ironed out for Samoa, says Gus. Oh, okay, we've got a double blow of the whistle here. It is now going to be a scrum feed. I would love for Japan to beat Argentina. I think that game will actually be the decider in terms of who goes through to that next stage. And his name is Ituale Manu Samoa Tuolangi. Says Savito there. And also Samoa can shine as they have before. And who's going to win, says Yvonne. I'll be honest, from what we've seen in the second half, I don't know if Samoa have got it in them to be able to go on and win this game. And I want to see them do well, but it's just the mistakes are just too crucial of a mistake. Like, they're playing with 14 men for the rest of this game now. And Samoa are their own biggest enemy, exactly right. Now, Yako Piper. Just asking the touch judge about what he sees. Lebok needs to trust himself. And he needs to speed up preparing for his kick. Don't swing the arm. South Africa love Japan. They fought so hard for so long. Says Goldberg, is Samoa losing, says Yvonne? They are currently. At the moment, if Samoa had not had handling errors that have been in a sorry-looking Argentina, yeah, that game again was another one that they didn't quite get right. And they had their opportunities. Pissed with stupid rules. Rugby gets some bloody helmet and bodyguard to guard players' ball, says James. Now 26 minutes remaining now. Much love for Samoa, says Yvonne. And also too many mistakes, Samoa, says Chris. The scrum beat for the Japanese. Starting to roll with the advantage now again in their favour. Cornelsen offloads it up, and that is going back for another penalty in favour of Samoa. And yeah, let's go the Broncos. Payne has to run over Leota and JFH with these. And also we have got the Japan have looked the better team overall. Yeah, they have had their moments and they have taken their chances. This game they are going to be going for the 3 points. See, in this case, I don't know whether or not this is me thinking too strategic, but I would have thought Japan would go for the corner here rather than the 3, because we do have to remember them versus Argentina. Of course, their game result is going to be so crucial, but they need to make sure that they get that bonus point for this game so that they have more of a chance up against the Argentines next week to be a point ahead. James Talangi, voice from the USA, this is not the solution. There's Gus. Now lining up this kick, Masuda. Currently a man advantage as well for the Japanese. They're ahead by 14. Opting to go for the 3 here. Could it backfire for the Japanese if they aren't able to get themselves another try? But that kick has gone over. Now makes the score 25 points to 8. Who thinks Ben Lam and Laliafano should now be playing for the women's team? Says Filifatu. I mean, they shouldn't have been in the starting lineup, I don't believe. Or Laliafano I can understand, because at the end of the day, I don't know what's happening with Sopawonga. For some reason, they don't want to pick him. Bonus point is not relevant unless the Japan-Argentina game is a draw, says Akaris. Although, if Argentina... Oh, it's a massive shot coming in there. Yeah, they'll certainly still want to get that little extra point so they can be sitting at the end of this game with that bit more of a boost. And then, like you said, if it comes down to a draw, which we have seen already in this Rugby World Cup, that extra point could be the difference. Now Tomoa Manu, passing on the outside to the left-hand side. Duncan Paioa going out wide. Here comes Danny Tawala moving up to the 22-metre line. Tamatine, flat ball to Fritz Lee. Looks like the best chance for Samoa of the half. That looked like a high shot on Duncan Paioa as well, though, so they will have to check that one upstairs, I would think. He's got straight back to his feet. And a red card cost Japan the last time these two teams played. It's the other way around this time, says Ric Flair. Yeah, that was the game that we saw. I think it was Jack Leach, wasn't it? That's a massive driving tackle from Nakabula. And the penalty goes the way of Japan. Their march forward 10 as well, due to Samoa talking back to the ref. Are they going to check the shot on Duncan Paiua? Doesn't sound like it. At the moment, Ben Lamb, yellow 2-time. If no, or why they changed it to red, says Savito. So it was direct head contact with a swinging arm to the head of a Japanese player. So what has happened for this Rugby World Cup is you get a yellow that can then be upgraded, and then they did decide that it was bad enough to upgrade it in this match. Time to take bonus point for Japan, says Jody, and yep, now it looks like they are going to be going for that corner. And also, time to take bonus point. Oh no, I read that one, but I think it's time to take Jonathan Tamatine off the field here for the Samoans. He's been quite fired up, and all it will take is one little bit of back chat to the referee, and he will be probably making his way off the field once more. And Japan and Fiji, real threats at the moment, says Dully, and so disappointed with the Samoan performance. And bloody hell, fire Samoa. And how many players are missing for both teams on the field, says Mark. So at the moment, Japan are playing with 15, and then for the Samoans, they are playing with the man disadvantage at 14. Unfortunately, Manu better at handling their own polos than the rugby balls, says Balafatu. Now claimed by Japan, Saito. Going across again to the right-hand side, Nakabula. Trying to spin. It is tackled by Danny Tuala. Straight away, Alamana Matanga getting into the breakdown, trying to find that turnover. Do see Milani Matavao has now made his way onto the field for Jonathan Tamatine also. Great work from Michael Alatoa to get out of the breakdown, and they do win the penalty. It's Milani Matavao in through the side. The pressure that was being offered by him and Alamana Matanga, the two subs who have just made their way on. And also still love the Manu Samoa, says Falafatu, and 7 Samoa throw them in, says the New Age. Well, that's the thing. They've got a few very good players from that 7th circuit, and perhaps we could see some of them transition, just like Milani Matavao, into the Union game. I'm trying to think of who the best one would be at the moment for them. Motu Opitai might not be a bad 7s player, to be honest. A few other players, Fa'afoi Falaniko, quite quick out on the wing. Going to the front there for Samoa, being able to claim it. Now Fritz Lee, big crash up. This game is not over yet. Nice carry from Milani Matavao. Offload up to Tamua Manu. It was flat. He steps, throws it to Theo McFarlane, but it was round his ankles and wasn't able to take that one. Lima Sopawanga injured, says the New Age. I'd rather see Japan in the quarterfinal than Argentina, says Fiji. Now nice step from Japan's number 13, Dylan Riley. 9 handling errors throughout this game for Samoa is the stat that they've just shown. Craig Miller off the Matsushima Matsuda going on the outside now to Lameki, who's at over 100 running meters in this game continuing. That's a dumb tackle from Alamanda Matanga. It was very close to, if he had connected, it would have been another yellow card for the Samoans. He loses the ball, Samoa, goddamn, says Jody. The South African ref has never been good. Not sure a ref to Pacific Nation game this year. Says audio on 58 minute. Says the farm, but yeah, Theo McFarlane just getting that ball just a little bit too low. Appreciate unbiased view on these World Cup games, brother Hamish. Keep up a massive effort. You'll be a pro commentator in the future, bro. Cheer. Says brother Bear, thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate. They are just going to show the replay here. They didn't really wrap the arms. I think he tried to, but player was ducking down and vent more protective scrum caps. Not easy to avoid here collisions. Says Goldberg, and thank you, bro, for the live. Very late to work watching the game, and it sounds disappointing for Samoa. Cheers for both teams. Says Parisi there. Do you need the time? As of now, it is 10:28. Okay, so you guys in South Africa, of course, a little bit of a later night. Was that the red? Was that a red? Says Adolf, that one wasn't the red. No, the red was for Ben Lamb earlier on in the game for the head contact. Now nice run from Matsushima. 1-on-1 with Ed Fidel. Tries to beat him on the outside. His foot was in touch though. And Samoa survived once again. Who is your team, Hamish? Says Dylan Simpson. As you guys know, I try my best to be completely impartial on these live streams. I'm from New Zealand, so people think that it should be the All Blacks, but It's not really the case. At the end of the day, we've done so many streams being impartial that I've kind of gotten used to being just straight down the middle. How long do you think the ban will be? Probably 3 weeks, I would say, for Ben Lam. So even if Samoa somehow make a comeback in this game, I don't believe they'd have Ben Lam for the quarters if they do end up making it through. Lani Matavao now, the big kick downfield. Bit of a juggle there from the Manu Lemeki at the back. He's had a sensational game at fullback here. And still think Scott Barrett's rear cutting against South Africa was the most pathetic. Says Ric Flair. And also it always starts with leadership. They need to sit them down and talk about playing smart first priority and get the right players in, says the new age. Now, Duncan Paiua finding the offload away to Sama Malolo, trying to drive his legs the goose step in the end from 40 metres out. A release and roll is the call from, was there from Iako Piper, Melania Matavao driven backwards in that tackle. Now, Michael Alatoa going across to Theo McFarland. He's looked like a player who's really wanted to have some running meters, but just hasn't really had those opportunities to be able to go forward. We have there Murray said why he just describing the Samoans, because the Samoans have got the ball at this stage. Just like when Matsushima was running down the wing, said that he had the ball as well. Now Jordan Lay, moving up to 25 metres out from the line. Leleafano, short flat pass after Alamanda Matanga, tackled by Amato Fakatavu, who has been relatively quiet throughout this game up to this point. You're the only person who I believe, when they say they're completely neutral. Says Fletch and loose ball, Dylan Riley. Did he get a finger on it? I don't believe so. So it's play on Leach with the ball on the inside to Matsushima, who, fun fact, isn't Samoan Murray. And he is going to score the try for the Japanese. Or is he? They might check this to see whether or not Dylan Riley did have a slight knock on in the lead up to that try. Other than that, I believe it is going to be all right. Didn't even touch the head, garbage call. Says Ric Flair. Well, the Ben Lam one, he got him good for that one, but the Alamana Matanga one that didn't become a penalty, they did not know. So that's why it wasn't a penalty. And no, says Dali. And what impossible is not a try, says Joe D. The only way that it isn't is if there's a knock on here. I think Matsushima was born in Joburg, says Dylan Simpson. Right. Did he touch it here, Dylan Riley? Yeah, a little finger brush on that one, so that will be no try for the Japanese. And we'll go right back to where it was initially. That guy, look, Japan, 2019, Japan needs to win before Eddie comes in for them as a coach. I'm so shocked the way Samoa play it. It's not reading the game instinct, says Tama. And also knock on, says Blues native Japan with a bonus point. Too good today. Samoans were in it. Like the Tongans. All heart, no smarts, says Laurie. I think Samoa need to go sleep, says Fuller. Where's Christopher and Charlie Farmawina, sorry. He was in the starting side initially, Christopher, but he did end up with some sort of injury, which meant he missed out on this game, which meant Luatua came into the starting side, and he has been out of form as well. So it did hurt them a little bit in the lock-in department. And then Charlie Farmawina, I think, may have got injured last week, if I'm not wrong. We're good there. What time are you going to film the All Blacks stream tomorrow, says Ollie. So we will be starting 30 minutes before kickoff for there. No good tries, says the new age. So yeah, a little knock on from Dylan Riley. Now the scrum feed for the Samoans, who I should mention now come in as $31 underdogs in this contest. About to feed the ball in. 40 metres out. One step at a time, please calm down. You are not H-man, says Rudy. Move it, Samoa, try harder. Enough time, we need speed and use our brains more in the future, says the new age. Now around the side of the breakdown, good driving from Fritz Lee to make those few extra metres now with the pick and go again for Samoa. Defensively, Japan have been strong throughout this game. Big lead drive from Brian Alanausi. Warner Durns makes the tackle as soon as they go around the side of the breakdown. He was also smashed in that challenge from Jordan Lay. But Samoa now with a chance to get back into this contest if they can get it right here. The game is not done and dusted. Melani Matavao, they've got their penalty advantage. Theo McFarland finds the offload to Leleafano. who is just inches from the try line, going to the right, Duncan Paioa. In fact, it was left, and Paioa scores the try. Samoa slowly back into it. We have got there, thank you, Hamish, best commentary by far, says Repeat. Thank you very much, mate. And also, whoever thought Mapusua is a good coach needs a reality check. And also, it's just too greedy to hire a world-class coach, says Sir Michael. And also, we have got there, let's go, Malani, a miracle, please. And that is going to be the first try of many that the Samoans need to get back into this contest. And Matsushima, the danger man yet again, says DJ. And well done, I guess, says Fiji Islander there. Leliafano, nice piercing run to only a metre out from the line. And then from there, Matsushima, it was a 2-on-1. And still time for the upset, says Dylan Simpson, exactly right. And also we have got there, I'll take it, says Selenium. And there as well. And Samoa looking good. Going forward, just need to work on the handling, says Gus. And let's go Samoa, says Dully. Now 15 minutes remaining. That is better, Samoa, says Okurt. Yeah, they held on to the ball, few phases, building up that pressure, and then finding their way over the try line. 48 metres out, this is a tough kick for Christian Leliofano. And Peter Wild, big boy time, says Kurno Wick. Kick from Leliofano. It looks pretty decent. It's gone over. And that is now going to make the score 25-15. How many minutes left? Still 14 minutes remaining in this contest. Samoa still $18 underdogs in this matchup. And I love the way you express the game. Says Chloe. And also, can you just give us a Chahu real quick? Says Fuller. I feel like it doesn't sound as good when I say it, I'll be honest. I feel like, yeah, when the Samoan boys do it, it sounds a lot better. Score needs to say, or stay like this now for me to get the full points on my predictor game. And now it's over following this trajectory. England is going to smash Samoa by 50 plus points, says Mus. Also, bye-bye Japan, 4 point. It's not good. And now Argentina can be qualified, says Joe D. And enough time for Samoa to score 2 more tries, says Rishin. And here they come, says D-Funk. Passing off to the left-hand side. Good drive forward from the Samoans. Around the side of the breakdown once more. And this is what they needed to do from the get-go in the second half. Just trying to push the pace. Backing their ability. That's a knock-on from Theo McFarland. Although, in that case, I feel like that's not one of the worst knock-ons we've seen. It was just going up for the high ball. It was contested and didn't quite get it ahead of Lamiki. Enough time for Samoa to score 2 more tries, says Rishin. And also scoring 2 more tries would give them the bonus point in this game. So they would walk away with 5 if they were able to get the victory there. If that was the case in Japan, it's not that good. It's just Samoa's that bad, says Mus. And give us a cho, says Musse. And there I was like, go blue by you, says Amelia. Now 13 minutes remaining. And I should mention every time that we do have a scrum or something along those lines, a line out, a stoppage that slowly takes the game away from the Samoans. And Japan won't mind it every time that it happens because they have currently gotten themselves enough of a lead. Shouldn't have to worry about the clock too much. We have got there, if only Tim Nai Williams was still in his prime, says Sir Michael. And also, if only he wasn't injured. Unfortunately, in that Barbarians game, walked away with the injury as the guy from Rugby World Cup South African, says Dylan Simpson. So, the way to describe him is he was born in Hong Kong. He's got an American mum and a Zimbabwean dad, which is where the South African support does come into it. But yeah, born and raised in Hong Kong, now lives in England, has an Irish and English passport. So that is why sometimes when people hear his accent, they're like, we have no idea where he's from. That is why, because it's a mix of about 5 different accents all thrown into one. Reckon that Japan will be the runners in this pool. They will upset Argentina, says Safedo. Do not forget that Samoa is playing 14 against 15, says Okurt. And to be honest, they've actually scored more tries when they've been playing with 14 than they have been with the 15. Now Saito feeding the ball in again, and he looks like he's going to be playing about 75 minutes of this contest. That'll be due to the late change of the Guardian missing out. It all makes sense now. Says Dylan Simpson, now backline for Japan. Dylan Riley goes off to Nakabulla with the chip and chase. Ball sits up for him, but he's taken down 10 metres out from the line with a great tackle from Christian Leliofano. Now Matsushima getting driven towards the touchline, but Japan chasing that bonus point now. Warner Durns gets within a couple meters. That's going to be an advantage. That was really dumb from Samoa. Manu, the player, had not rolled away. He was handling the ball, which does end up with the easy penalty call for the referee. Now back across to the right-hand side. Skip pass. Matsuda goes off to Matsushima. Taken down again by Theo McFarlane. Naika Bulla trying to run through the Samoan defence, but he is taken down by Danny Tuala, and they will go back for another penalty. 15 or 14 versus 15 is not an excuse. They've just been below average, says Fiji Islander. And they start crying, it's a fact, not hating. Says Ric Flair, and fish in the water, fish in the sea, says Amelia. At least get this bonus point, Samoa, says Stanley. And we should mention, this is a closely contested group as well, so whoever walks away with this game will more than likely, even if they don't make it to the quarterfinals, will still manage to qualify automatically for the next Olympics. Or sorry, not the next Olympics, the next Rugby World Cup. When you good, my sweet friend, says Chloe. And also Samoa needs to go on a diet, says whatever. I don't think fatigue or stamina has been a problem in this game, though. It's just been the handling and the discipline. So other things, please check out the entertainment. Kiwi's Entertainment, Hamish and George, video reaction all behind the scenes, says Blues Nate. Yeah, last video was an interesting one on there. We did try Pit, which was an interesting experience. But now, 5 meters out from the try line, Japan, they have had that one go down, and Samoa defend it well. I think Samoa for your participation. Well played, Japan, says Lucy. And also, we have got, it's the discipline for sure, says Fuller. Also, Japan need the bonus point to cement their place in the quarterfinals, says Fiji Islander. Yeah, depending on how that game up against Argentina goes, of course, could see a little bit of reshuffling near the end of this poll. And that game is taking place next week, ladies and gentlemen. These are all the fixtures that we have got for the near future. As you can see, Japan versus Argentina, that will be the early kickoff game on the Monday morning. So that will secure who makes it through in Pool D. Ireland versus Scotland, the game prior, will help confirm who makes it through in that group, although it is currently pretty well confirmed that Ireland and South Africa will be those two sides. Fiji versus Portugal, depending on what Fiji do in their game up against Georgia, that might be an absolutely crucial one. No game for Australia this weekend, as they have got just the one left, and that is up against the Portuguese this week. We are going to be covering it on the channel as well. And we have got there, do you think Italy can upset one of the big dogs in Pool A? It's a possibility. At the end of the day, we know that the Italians have improved drastically throughout the last couple years. So I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to squeeze a close victory. But then at the same time, there's also a chance that the opposition side in New Zealand and France can put on around 30 points ahead of them. We have got there was all right, the bit of bread. Should have had the KFC boss, says Blues Nate. Yeah, I think that's George's next plan if we do any sort of video like that for a second time. Or in fact, I think there's a new burger place that he wanted to go to. You should do the commentary for Sky Sports. Says Stanley, thank you very much, mate. And I'm down with Fiji winning the World Cup. Says cool story, bro. And there as well. But now Ed Fidel will make his way off the field. That is for Naria Fomai. I still feel like that should have been Duncan Paiua as the sub being made. Has Italy ever won against the ABs? They have not. But they have been close in the past, the Italians. Nicely taken by Michael Leach. Now a little short pass off from Kazuki Himeno. So 25 metres out from the line, and still with the 4 points at the moment for Japan in terms of that win. One more try, though, would secure the bonus point victory. If Samoa kept 15 on the field, it might be a different result, says Brian. Yeah, just those handling errors. Like I mentioned, they had 9 earlier on, and since then they've had an extra 2 or 3. So to have double figures of handling is always going to hurt your chances of winning a contest. Now, counter ruck there was almost strong from Samoa, but staying on the side of Japan. Still 7 minutes remaining. And another penalty advantage against Samoa. Player leaving their feet. Now they put Naria Fomai on. Might be too late, says Mosse. And the whole Samoa Sevens team is skinny, says the New Age. I mean, there's a few of those big boys, though. I feel like someone from the Sevens, we talked about a few players earlier on, but Tuna Tuitama, imagine him in the Union kit. It'll be quite entertaining to see how he goes. And Samoa by 2, come on lads, says David. And also we've got there, at least the 17 can win a game and even a tournament, says Musia. Still remember that one in Cape Town up against New Zealand. The field was flooded in the final, and the coverage was actually cutting out here in New Zealand throughout it, but we still covered that game, getting themselves a monumental victory in that circuit. And at least New Zealand and Fiji are island brothers. I still win the World Cup, says Peter Stowers, and 15 Manu team. I can only win eating contest, says Mus. And Brian Lima got to be their head coach. Going to make their asses run, says the new age. And don't worry, we have Toyo, says Samoa on top. Now lining up the kick for Japan. This would give them a 13-point lead. So once again, I don't see the benefit in extending the lead by just a few points. Of course, it will use up a bit more time on the clock, but so would a line out. And then the scrum after that if the line out's not straight or anything along those lines. So the attacking intent's not there for Japan currently, which makes me concerned. Definitely if it does go down to the wire and we do somehow get a draw between Argentina and Japan next week, it would actually mean that Japan miss out due to a lack of intent throughout their games, perhaps. And well, Rugby will fall apart if Fiji wins the Rugby World Cup, says Fiji Islander. And where was the team that versed Ireland, says Mosse. I think everyone has been asking that question throughout this Rugby World Cup, and sadly, we just haven't quite seen it. It's going to be knocked on by Theo McFarland off kickoff. And also a Japan versus Scotland final, heard it here first, says Kudaisi. And also as they're a touring Pacific Alliance team, says Gus, there were rumours about a Southern Hemisphere Lions side taken to the Northern Hemisphere. I'd actually love to see a Pacific Island Barbarians team in the future, perhaps, or like some sort of Lions type thing, how they go up to the Northern Hemisphere, play all the Six Nations sides throughout a 2-year period or something like that, just so that they can still squeeze those games in. Or even, actually, I take that back, don't play the top sides in that competition overseas. Play those Tier 2 sides. Portugal, Spain, you could end up playing as well. Georgia, play all those sides with a Pacific Nations travelling team and see how they go. If the Toa Samoa boys played for Manu, it's over for the world, says Samoa on top. And game over Samoa, says Felix. Yeah, only 4 minutes remaining now. Down in the front row, though. And Samoa have got themselves the penalty. They will now have to kick this one for the corner. More Samoans will head home. Sports fishing is a real man's game, says Fa I2. Hopefully I said that correctly. Now going for the corner there. They'll be about 15 metres out. It's not completely over yet for the Samoans. If they can score now and convert, they would actually still have a chance for the final moments of this contest. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 45 subscribers away from our goal by the end of this live stream. So if you do want to help us out, it is greatly appreciated. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're also back for 3 games tomorrow. Or in fact, no, sorry, 1 game tomorrow with All Blacks versus Italy. 3 games the next day with Argentina versus Chile, Fiji versus Georgia, and also the last game of the day, which will be, I believe it is, I've forgotten it. It's not Australia-Portugal, though, because that game has taken place on the day after. Scotland versus Romania, the other game that has taken place there. I don't think they have the firepower to score again. Says Dylan Simpson. Now Milani Matavao, 22 metres out. Christian Liliofano goes off to Brian Elena Usi. Michael Alaratoa pass on the outside to Sama Malolo. He has a lot of pace for a man in the front row. Now Theo McFarland moves to 10 metres out the line for Samoa. This is to keep their Rugby World Cup dreams alive. Offload found from Milani Matavao. Now Alamana Matunga. Get into 5 metres out from the line. Loose ball for the Samoans, but they have been able to regather. Tamua Manu now trying to pierce his way through the defensive line. Still available. And they have got the penalty advantage currently as well for the Samoans, I should mention. Around the side of the breakdown, and there is obstruction, so they will go back for the original penalty. Samoa need this ball as soon as they can get it, because they need to quick tap and keep going. They've only got 2.5 minutes remaining. Looks like Sama Malolo, he'll take the quick tap. Japan rushing up off their line. That should be a penalty advantage for offside. Now Milani Matavao going across to the left-hand side once more here. 2 minutes remaining. Liliofano reaches out, scores the try for Samoa. and they are back into the game in the final moments with a kick to come. The Samoans just do not want to give up here. And they've got a chance to make the monumental comeback. Is that the actual score or not, says Desmond? So the score is 28 points to 22. I believe the scoreboard was just a little bit behind. But Samoa $7 underdogs. Now compared to, I mentioned earlier on, they were $31 underdogs for that game. And also Whaamalosi Samoa, says Mako. And bloody hell, what a game, says Dylan Simpson. Yeah, the late comeback for the Samoans. They have got 1 minute 40 now. I need to reiterate this. In the last game, they were almost backing it up against Argentina. They were inside of their 22. And then from there, they decided to start kicking the ball back to the opposition. I would like to think they've learnt their lesson from that last game. And that is not what they're going to do here. If they do, then it's throwing away the win. Looks like a serious injury here, though, for Tamua Manu. Looks like some sort of knee or maybe a little bit of cramp for him here. What the hell's going on? Samoa's coming back, says Jody. And go Fiji, no hope for Samoa, says Eric Ed. And also Fai 2. Samoa already has enough for Fine. It's a men's team. And also hence the results. And also we've got a donation from Blues Net as well with the super sticker. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. I assume that it is a hippo. It is just about to load. There it is, the hippo with the KO. And there as well. You can do it, Samoa. One more try. Says it was Athanasius. Hopefully I said that correctly. Samoa going to have to play park footy now and hope for the best, says Mo. Yeah, they cannot afford to kick this ball back to the Japanese. That is what they did in their game up against Argentina. They eventually gave away another penalty and it cost them that game. Looks like Tamua Manu's going to try and continue this match here. Oh, so we have got there. Only have Tamua Manu offload the ball early to McFarlane. And what is your prediction for watermelons versus Kiwis? Is that, who's that on the fly? Is that like I know there's a women's rugby game, but I don't know if that's what you're referring to. And only if Tamua Manu offload the ball early to McFarlane, says Taunuufi. Now 10 metres out from their line. Duncan Paioa, sling and pass. Off to Naria Fumai. Steps through one defender. Moves up to the 22. Metre line going short side here for Samoa. Duncan Paioa tackled out by Craig Miller. Samoa, they'll be hoping for some sort of penalty advantage at some stage in the near future. Sama Malolo once again makes those few extra metres. Matavao going across to Christian Leleofano. Duncan Paioa inside ball to, I believe it is actually going to be Danny Tuala. I thought it was for a second Tamua Manu, and I was thinking, geez, he's not going to be enjoying running on that leg. Now Christian Leleofano trying to snipe through. Still 50 seconds remaining. Matavao going across. Now, this is what I like here, because rather than going with Jonathan Tamatine for the closing moments, who was keen to kick this ball away, they have got the running rugby of the sevens man, Malani Matavao. What did Ben Lamb do for his card? Swinging arm to the head of the Japanese winger. Still continuing here, Samoa. Ninth phase, inside of their 22. Now, I will mention they will walk away from this game with a bonus point. They will walk away with a penalty now, though. 20 metres out from their line. Discipline, says Mose. They are good at knocking the ball on, says Mus. They are normally, but in that case, that was probably the most phases we have seen from the Samoans in one go throughout this matchup. And now they have got a chance to kick this one for the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, I will mention, if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here. Samoa, currently, the betting for this game is closed. And I think that is because maybe Samoa have started their monumental comeback. Come on, Samoa, maybe a dramatic ending, says Ric Flair. And also, come on, get closer for a chance, boys, says the new agent. Do not miss touch, says Dylan. The ball has gone out, although now a line-out throw for the Samoans. Sama Malolo has to get this one right. Question is, does he? It's thrown in, taken by Japan. It's a knock-on, in fact, by the Japanese. I believe that would be the end of this game, but instead, Japan, they kick it into touch, and that will be the end of the match. The final moments, once again, the Samoans come up marginally short, and that is going to be now a Japanese win, 28 points to 22. I will mention Japan walk away from this game with the 4 points rather than the 5, though. So it means that Argentina have got a chance of being ahead of the Japanese by the end of this round. Cheers for the commentary, H. See you tomorrow for my ABs. I hope we did a good job, or get a good turnout, says Sai. And there was one, says Gus, and Samoa really came back very good to a T. Says Chloe. And Malo Japan, says Sir Michael. And come on, Samoa. And also we look at the composed Japan, says Brennan. And yeah, the line out did not work out for the Samoans. Just a little bit overthrown. We have got there. Hopefully, Sapawanga don't get paid package for the calf muscle. Says Tama, the close games have been sneaking up in this World Cup, says Dylan Simpson, of respect for the players who came in at the end, though, says a new age. Yeah, Samoa, they showed that fighting spirit late. It was just the fact that they waited too long to start showing it, but they've got one more game. Next week, it will be up against the English. Japan, they've got a very important game up against the Argentines, which I believe will determine who makes their way through to the quarterfinals. But I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a lot of fun. We have got a game tomorrow, which is taking place between Italy and New Zealand. And alongside that, we have got plenty more action for this week of the Rugby World Cup. 18 tackles made by Michael Leach. He was the leading tackler throughout this contest. 136 running metres for Lamano Lameki. So certainly doing brilliantly at the back for the Japanese. Tamua Manu, the most gain line carries with 9 throughout this matchup. The possession was pretty close to 50-50. Same with the territory, both just slightly in edge of the Samoans on 52%. Here's a stat for you. That was the only line out that Samoa didn't win throughout this game. Every other time, 9 out of 10, they were able to win it for themselves, and then 5 out of 5 with their scrums. As well, the last 15 minutes, Samoans attacking was on form, too little too late. Says Robinson. And it just makes you wonder, the players who came off the bench, should they have been in the starting side? Malani Matavao, Danny Tuwala, also Naria Famai in those final moments. Alamana Matunga, when he made his way onto the field off the bench, looked like he had an impact. It was because Matunga was throwing it in. Says the new age of Samoa should get rid of all the Japanese people in Samoa. Says whatever. I feel like that would be a bit harsh for the Japanese. Also very even in the meters carried for this match as well, I should say. Thanks a million, Hamish. Up early in the morning, so off to bed. Have a great night, everyone. Says Brian there. Rugby should be a 90-minute game. Says Rishin. I don't know whether or not they'd change it. Mainly because there's a lot of players who get fatigued after that 80 minutes rather than adding the extra 10 on top of it. And excellent work as always, Hamish. Thank you, says Richard. And thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. It feels like a very fitting time to end this live stream, seeing as we have got 685 viewers on the channel. It has been greatly appreciated you all being here. Like I mentioned, we've got plenty more Rugby World Cup streams just around the corner. Also, lineup announcements, previews, reviews, the whole lot. We will actually have a preview for this game coming out in only the next 30 minutes or so. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.